Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Butch Reds here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we got to talk about all the news, all the rumors that has transpired over the past 24 hours. And I'm going to do that on the program today. But if you do not know, today's show is presented by our good friends Prize Picks. You can get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. And if you've never played a Prize Picks lineup, tonight is a great night to do it. We got the Stanley Cup. You got basketball playoffs. The finals are freaking tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. But I do want to discuss the A.J. Brown trade because Myles Garrett trade, I think we just have to talk about it. You know, shit, man, I know that this is the Raiders Report, but I literally thought about going live yesterday on this show because of how big those two trades were and how often I talked about A.J. Brown. Like, I really did think that A.J., and I think a lot of us here were like, yeah, we expected the A.J. Brown trade to happen. But for the Myles Garrett trade, I don't know if anyone really forecasted that one to come in. I knew that the Rams were one of the teams that was sniffing around with Max Crosby, and I knew that there was some interest there. But seeing Myles Garrett go, I mean, if Myles Garrett can get traded, man, anybody, and I mean anybody, can get traded. So I would just want to talk about that a little bit more today. I also saw some rumors from ESPN. I'll take a little bit of a deep dive into those. And then I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders fixed a major problem. And I want to tip my cap to Kubiak and Spytek for having a plan and going out there and crushing that plan. At the very end of today's show, we will also be doing a duck race, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 in order to get in. Now, I do say this all the time. I appreciate every day that when we do a Tuesday live show, I go live every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and I know there's not a lot of stuff to talk about going down right now. The media was not at Raiders OTA practice. However, if you didn't see the video that I just released, Nakobe Dean was not there yesterday, though. I'm not going to hit the panic button, and Taron Johnson was there yesterday. That's some good news. But one of the topics from ESPN is around Fernando Mendoza. So I'm going to hit all of y'all with this question. I'm going to give some shout-outs on the Raiders Report. I see a super chat from O'Neill. We will get to that, and then I will break down the deals here on today's program. So my question to Raider Nation is this: when will Mendoza get his first start with the Las Vegas Raiders? If you think it's going to happen in September, type S down below. If you think it's going to happen in October, type O, November, N, December, D, January, J, or if you don't think that he's going to play in his rookie season, I want you to type W for won't play. And the reason why I'm kind of saying this is because one of the topics from ESPN is around when they believe Fernando Mendoza is going to be a potential starter for the Las Vegas Raiders. And I just want to kind of ask you guys what you're thinking. I mean, I've seen jokes say September, which for those of you that don't know, I mean, that basically means that you think Mendoza is going to be your week one starter. And for November is an interesting option because the Raiders got that week 13 bye. So definitely something to consider. October, I'm seeing a few options for that from Raider Chap. Joey Rose is typing his S for September. I don't know if I've seen a W. Oh, there I have. Malachi Muhammad typing his W down below. Luda Sigla saying N for November. I got O'Neill Seward coming in here on the Raiders Report presented by Prize Picks. What up, Mitch? Am I tripping, or is there any word on Mendoza's contract? Haven't seen anything about him signing it yet. Yeah, you're right. Fernando actually has not signed his rookie contract yet. I'm not worried about it, and I don't think anybody out here should be worried about it. I do actually believe that there is maybe one or two other Raiders rookies that officially haven't signed that rookie contract yet. But again, man, it's the number one overall pick. The entire contract is going to be fully guaranteed. They might try to figure out a few little odds and ends here, mix and match, but I'm not worried about Fernando. And I say that because Fernando Mendoza was learning the Raiders playbook before they even drafted him. Fernando Mendoza was at the Raiders, he was literally at the Raiders' first day of off-season workouts, April 7th. And I'm not saying that you're freaking out, tripping either, but no, Fernando Mendoza technically has not signed that rookie contract yet. But there There's a few other, first rounders that are out there. There's a few other Raiders players that haven't done it, but I'm not worried about that yet. And I don't think that the Raiders are going to be worried about that at any time. And I hope that no Raider fans are out there worried about it. Dup Gazer says February 14th. Put that day on a calendar, man. It's Super Bowl day. February 14th. Yeah, no, you're good, O'Neal, who right now is number one on today's show. And I'm going to say this right now to anybody out there. Today's going to be a day that you're going to want to be a part of the top 3 XP getters on the Raiders Report. I got golden tickets to give out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain to what I'm saying here in just a moment. But before I do, today is a great day in sports. And today, you're going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals between the Las Vegas Golden Knights and then also the Carolina Hurricanes. If you're not a hockey fan, it's all good. You got the finals tomorrow between the Knicks and the Spurs. If you're not a basketball fan, if you're not a hockey fan, if you're only here for Raiders content, luckily for you, you can also do Raiders season-long lineups over on Prize Picks. I actually just looked today, and I saw Raiders Week 1 lineups available for the Raiders up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, you can make player picks. You can do team picks as well. So if you want to take the Vegas Golden Knights to beat the Hurricanes tonight, you can do it. If you want to pick the Knicks to beat the San Antonio Spurs, you can do it. All I ask is that you use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, and you probably see everybody right now in our live show spamming PP down below. That's them showing up and showing out for Prize Picks, and the fact that Popto, Shav, Luda, Sigla, Big Raz are all showing love to Prize Picks, I'm going to show them some love here on this channel. So my question to all of you is this. Who do you got in the game tonight? Are you going to go with the Vegas Golden Knights, or are you going to go with the Hurricanes? Give me an LV for Golden Knights. Give me a CAR for the Hurricanes. And I say that because I know that this is the Raiders Report. But in the offseason as a sports fan, I'm going to try to tell you all exactly what I'm doing as a sports fan. And I actually don't have a lineup yet for Prize Picks, though if I were to make one for this tonight, I'd probably try to take advantage of the deal. They got Jalen Brunson on half a point is like one of the deals that they're doing this week on Prize Picks for that game 1 game up against the Spurs. Pick more, pick less. It's really that simple to do. Use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So today's deals here on the Raiders Report. If you send in a $10 super chat, I'm going to give you one fantasy raffle ticket. Every single year, I do a fantasy football league filled with Raiders Report watchers. Last year, my league consisted of 14 people. I was one of them. So 13 and then me. This year, we're actually going to crank it up a notch. I'm going to do a 16-team league featuring me and 15 other people. If you want a chance to get in that league, every time you send in a 10, and it will be only a $10 super chat, I'm going to give you one raffle ticket. If you're looking to get extra raffle tickets, well, you can spin today's wheel, $20 to win more and more tickets. This is probably the best deal that you're going to get. If you want to win money on the program today, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. If you're trying to bang in the month of June, whoever bangs the most in the month of June, you're going to get in my fantasy football league. But also today, I'm going to give away 3 golden tickets to the person that comes in first, second, and third in our XP. And just like Willy Wonka, golden tickets are worth more than fantasy raffle tickets. So the way that my fantasy league is going to go is this. Whoever is the June, July, August bang MVP, you're going to get in my fantasy league. At the end of every single month, June, July, and August, I will hold a raffle. Whoever wins those raffles, you're going to get in the fantasy league. This draft will be done on Sleeper. The draft itself will happen right before the actual football season gets rolling in. I typically like to do it that final weekend right before football gets going. So I'll kind of let you know what I'm thinking. But if you want to know exactly how this is going to be divvied up and how this is going to be broken down for the all 16 players in my fantasy league, and you're going to hear me talk about this probably a lot throughout the entirety of the offseason, but obviously I'm in the league. I'm going to put myself in the league I also just wanted to show all of y'all, I'm putting 3 other people in right away. I got to give a nod to Raider Ron, the man that's banged more than anybody on the Raiders Report in the history of the Raiders Report. I'm putting Bayou Raider in, also a member of Mount Raider more. He has banged more than anybody in the year of 2026. And then also, I'm going to put in Lord Cameron Abbott, the guy that has banged the second most this year, but also the person that has been really showing up and showing out the entire 2026 year. So then you're going to notice the Bang MVPs, the June raffles, but then I'm also going to do a golden ticket raffle for June, July, and August. I know that this is a lot to digest, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of some of the things that I'm going to be doing this offseason. And then I will do a preseason week 1, preseason week 2, and a preseason week 3 MVP to get in my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. So just friendly reminder out there. Rebel said, I got a golden ticket. You know, Rebel, I probably should give you a golden ticket in all honesty. You did win our fantasy league last year, so I think because of that, I'm going to give Rebel Montana a golden ticket. Rebel, I got you, man. I got you. Rebel, yeah, you did win it last year, so I'll give you a golden ticket. So today, I'm giving out 3 golden tickets. The other ways that you can get golden tickets are if you hit a Raiders Report gong, I'll get you a golden ticket. Being an MVP on shows, I'll get you golden tickets. Or special days today, if you're in the top 3 XP, you're going to get a golden ticket. Sherlock, do you know our cap off the top of your head? I would say right now the Raiders are the 15th team in the NFL in cap space. I did just do a video earlier in the week, and I want to say that we are at right around $23 million of salary cap space, but I know for a fact that we are 15th most. Excuse me. That we are 15th most in the NFL right now. But if we need to be able to make moves happen, we have the money, we have the flexibility. What's really important is who you're going to move on from, which is why the show that I did, it would have been on Saturday, the top 10 players that I think are the most likely to end up getting released. And you could see the Raiders potentially making some moves, and maybe they wait until after OTA practice this Thursday, the final day, and right before mandatory minicamp on June 9th. There's going to be, between the 4th and the 9th, there's a little bit of a window there, but you do have money if you needed to be able to make a move. Hiccups before a boot. I don't have any hiccups now, luckily, but I don't know why. I feel like today I've been absolutely amped up all day. I slept absolutely amazing. We were talking about some NBA stuff before the show got started. That's why I was actually 2 minutes late. And apparently I can't drink water. So, Sherlock, shout out to you, man. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in to the Raiders Report today. I don't see any super chats, and since I don't see any super chats, the way that Tuesday shows go, if you want questions, comments up here on the board, you got to use hashtag Raiders or super chat in order to do it. If you see any hashtag Raiders questions, please don't be afraid to put them up here. But I'll kind of go through the way that I have my show scheduled, and then if we get some questions, I'll get you guys up on screen. Let's go to the trade that really I can't even believe that it happened yesterday. The Browns get Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick in 2029. The Rams end up getting Myles Garrett. My question to all of you out there is, who do you think honestly won this deal? Do you think that the Browns won this trade? Do you think that the Rams won this trade? I mean, I can make the argument that both teams maybe potentially won this deal, because if you're the Browns, you get draft capital for the future. Nobody thought Myles Garrett and the Browns were going to win anything this upcoming season, but you also get an outstanding player, a young player, a third-year guy, in Jared Verse, who obviously can play that edge position. But then if you're the Rams, you are truly a team that is in this Super Bowl win-now move. I'll admit, everything that the Rams have done this season outside of drafting Ty Simpson at number 13 overall makes sense to me, because the only reason why you make a trade like this if you're the Rams is if you feel like you're in Super Bowl win-now mode. Drafting Ty Simpson doesn't really help you win a Super Bowl anytime soon. Now, maybe they're thinking, all right, if Stafford goes down, then we have another quarterback that we might be able to use just in case. But I'll say this. If the Rams win a Super Bowl, obviously it's Myles Garrett. if the Rams don't win a Super Bowl, I think that the Browns are the ones that ends up winning this deal. And I was talking to our Browns guy today about it, and it was like, hey, you slept on it. How do you feel? And I think the way Browns fans are talking about this trade is very, very similar to the way that Raider fans were kind of talking about the Max Crosby trade of, Max just meant more to Raider fans than like normal players. And then for Myles, it's kind of that same conversation. He felt like he meant more to a lot of those Browns fans that were out there. But I see some people down there Rams said F those picks from Elijah Johnson. I see type in R from Luda Sigla. Schaub type in an R as well. For the Rams, though, Chad's going to say that he thinks that the Browns ended up winning that deal. Well, that actually wasn't the only big-time trade that ended up going down yesterday. The Patriots, they received A.J. Brown, and the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a first-round pick in 2028 and a fifth-round pick in 2027. I look at this deal, and I'll ask you guys again, who won this trade? Type E for Eagles, type P for Patriots. And I kind of want to say that I feel like Philadelphia won this trade. There's no doubt about it that A.J. Brown is a talented player, but, A.J. Brown and the Eagles, I think that they were dealing with some issues that maybe needed to be moved on from, though Brown did say today that he's got no hard feelings for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Maybe it's just A.J. wanted to be a part of the New England Patriots. I mean, he's been a Patriot fan from what it sounds like for the majority of his life, and sounded like that's where he wanted to play. I don't know if he said it. I think he said today it's like not heaven, but it's pretty close or something like that. Like it's not like it was something along the lines of like him being in a perfect situation. You could tell A.J. Brown's really excited, though, to be a part of the New England Patriots. But I also don't know if, like in my mind, I'm kind of blown away that Sauce Gardner went for 2 first-round picks and Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown didn't go for 2 first-round picks.
I think one of the biggest things in this trade, especially for the Patriots,
yeah,
you hold on to your 2027 first.
Yeah,
and those are being treated like gold right now in the NFL.
Golden tickets almost.
Yeah. So being able to hold on to that, it's a decent sized win for the Patriots, I think.
Massive size win. And I kind of like that you brought that up because I agree with you. The 2027 draft is being talked about. And the way that it's being looked at, which maybe that's why the Rams were willing to give up a first, but at the same time, what do you think is the lowest that Rams first-round pick is? Like there's no chance the Rams, to me, are picking anywhere inside the top 24 next year.
26 was going to be my number.
26?
That was the one that came to my head.
I mean, 26 is like 24. If the Rams lose week 1 of the wild card, I mean, you're going, what a disaster of a year.
Yeah.
You are. I mean, you make a trade like this for Myles Garrett, and you're going, it's Super Bowl or bust in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And I think that that's kind of their thought process to this as well. But very, very interesting. Very interesting. So we had the Myles Garrett trade. We have the A.J. Brown trade. I do see some super chats that are rolling in now on the program. And again, if anybody wants to get their questions or comments flowing, please use hashtag Raiders to get those questions, comments on the show. I did see one from 2K Pop Toes. Again, when you guys use hashtag Raiders, it tells our system, hey, that's a question. Let's get it up on screen, and we can be able to show those. I see Seth. What's going on, Seth? If Nakobe Dean isn't around, does that potentially allow Eichenberg to see the field more? I actually don't know if Eichenberg is the one that benefits as much from Nakobe Dean. I actually think Cody Lindenberg actually benefits a little bit more because when this first started to happen, the way that everybody kind of got lined up, it was Eichenberg was playing more of that middle linebacker role. Nakobe Dean plays the weak side linebacker role, the Quay Walker's middle linebacker. But Cody Lindenberg plays a little bit more of that weak side spot. It could also help Shea Gunalobi. I mean, truthfully, I'm not worried about Nakobe Dean. I'm really not. Like, the way that I'm going to talk to people about Nakobe Dean is the exact same way what I was saying about Taron Johnson. Would you like him out on the field? Of course you would. Am I going to hit the panic button that guys aren't showing up to non-mandatory things? No, I am not. But for Clint Kubiak to say that he wasn't worried about Taron Johnson, can you show that quote? For Kubiak to say back on May 20th that he wasn't worried about Taron Johnson and he wasn't worried about Nakobe Dean, and the fact that Johnson ended up showing up like that tells me that they got they know what's happening and they have control of this situation. So here's what Kubiak said on May 20th in regards to Taron Johnson and Nakobe Dean. It's a voluntary time of year. Can't wait to get those guys back. Really fired up for the guys that are here, but been in contact with both of those guys, and they've been doing a great job. Some here and some away. So to me, I am confident that Kubiak and the Silver and Black have a good hold of what exactly is happening between Johnson and Nakobe Dean. And for that reason, I'm not going to worry about it. And, I feel like we're kind of talking about similar topics over and over and over again because it's the off season and because the Raiders really aren't doing it too much right now compared to a lot of the other NFL teams, which maybe is a good thing, right? Like, they're staying pat with their roster. They're staying pat to what they did in free agency in the draft. They want to evaluate those players. And then maybe after OTAs, you could see them potentially do some stuff. But I would say Shea Gunalobi, Cameron McGrone, Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg, those 4 players, all, without a doubt, are benefiting from Nakobe Dean not being out there. But I would say Lindenberg, McGrone, and then Shea Gunalobi are probably benefiting from it a little bit more because Eichenberg, to me, plays more of that backup middle linebacker role. But I appreciate the question. Sherlock! Throwing it up there! Looking for that golden ticket, throwing up the alley. Shout out to the nation. Love you. Happy anniversary to Mitch and Alex. Thank you, man. No, it's not yet today. My anniversary, my 1-year anniversary with my wife is this upcoming Saturday, June 6th. And I was talking to her this morning about it because she's in Portland right now. If anybody's out in Portland, if you see her running around, say what's up. But she's in Portland right now. She gets back Thursday night, and her and we have plans Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous because OTAs ends. It's right before mandatory minicamp. Will any Raiders news happens? If any Raiders news does happen, try to be a little bit flexible with me. I hope to only celebrate a 1-year wedding anniversary once. So Alex and we got a few different things planned that we want to be able to do. And we'll see what happens. But thank you, man. I'm very humbled. It goes by quickly, just 1 year. But, Alex, she just posted some photos today, or yesterday. We did a photo shoot with our dog, Chuck, and we kind of did them as a little bit of a celebratory thing for ourselves for our 1 year. But thank you, Sherlock, very, very much, man. Rebel Montana, Tom Grossi approved the shirt. Knicks in 6. Yeah, I follow Grossi. I see what he does from time to time, but Knicks in 6. If Marshall wants Knicks in 6, I'd rather that one. Rock Forge, what's going on? We got a raffle ticket. Let's freaking go, Rock. What is your prediction of the Vegas and Hurricane series for the Cup? And I do want to say this. The reason why I'm going to be very strict on $10 super chats or raffle tickets is because I want people who want to be in the fantasy league to get into the fantasy league. So if you see $10 super chat, I'm going to log that as one raffle ticket every single time. If you send in a $100 super chat, it's not going to count as a raffle ticket. The only way you're getting a raffle ticket, $10 super chat. Now, based on what some of my guys told me, but here's the thing, man. Everything that I heard about the Vegas Golden Knights going into the Avalanche series, it sounded like the Avalanche are the best team in hockey. They're going to roll them. They're just going to rip through them. Because the Avalanche scored the most goals, and they allowed the least amount of goals during the season. And yet, Vegas, they swept them 4-0. The Hurricanes are a hell of a team. Both teams are a hell of a team. But you can't deny the fact that the Golden Knights are playing really, really well right now. But based on what our hockey guys here have been telling me, they're kind of going with Hurricanes in 6 or 7. It's kind of what I've been hearing.
All I did was ask one of our hockey guys. I'm like, hey, you got a Prize Picks lineup tonight? And he's like, yes. I said, send it to me. And all I'm doing is tailing him. That is all I know about hockey.
Wow, big-time NFL news rolling in here. Linebacker from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Nick Herbig, has just reached a 4-year, $100 million extension with Pittsburgh that includes $42 million guaranteed. That's a big-time payday in the middle of June. Good for him, man. That's breaking news from the Steelers. Nick Herbig, 4-year, $100 million extension, $25 a year. I'm gonna say Hurricanes in 6 or 7. though obviously I'm hoping that that doesn't happen. I want the Vegas Golden Knights to win. My promise to all y'all out there is if this series goes to 7 games, I will be live here on the Raiders Report for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And I really wanted to be able to do it this year. Unfortunately, I was unable to do it, and that's because of the scheduling issues that I have leading up. Literally the only games that I'm available, Game 4, Game 7. So I was like, I can't tell people that I'm going to go live if I'm only available for Game 4 and Game 7. But I'm hoping Vegas wins in 7, but I'm going to say the Hurricanes in 6 probably get it done. Let's go to O'Neal. What's going on, O'Neal? Kubiak has this team in the palm of his hand already. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I don't know if saying like the palm of his hand already. I think what Clint Kubiak has done so well in a few months is he's gotten people to buy in. And one of the reasons why Clint Kubiak was my number 1 head coach candidate for the Raiders this season, again, there was many reasons, but one of the main reasons was the buy-in, right? Like, how are you going to get Fernando Mendoza to buy in? How are you going to get these free agents to buy in? You got to sell them on something, and the Raiders have done a really good job selling Clint Kubiak. So I think because they've sold Clint Kubiak and what the expectation is from all these guys that are joining the team in the offseason, I think when you set the expectation, like, you know what the expectation is, and you're coming in here and you're getting to work and you're, like, Kubiak even said it, like, that the Raiders did such a good job this offseason of finding guys that want to play football, finding guys that love to play football. And the way that you have this earn the shield mentality is you got to have everybody that's a part of this plan. But I do think what Kubiak does is he's about football. He's about action. And for a lot of the players that were a part of that disaster last year, I think it's refreshing. So when you have that combination of he's an outstanding human being, there's no doubt about it that he knows football, but he's also expecting it because it's what he's going to do. Again, I don't know if I would say they're eating out of the palm of his hand. I don't know if that's fair to do because then Nakobe Dean would show up. I just think that there's a level of respect, right? Like, think of the way that you respect Clint Kubiak, and I think like players kind of feel the exact same way. But from the interviews of players and coaches, you can already tell the buy-in from everyone. You can tell the buy-in, and it's because, again, I'm not at practice every single day. I'm not in the facility, but hearing what we've heard about how it's gone in the past, I think players are going, when you see how it's supposed to run, it helps you realize how bad it was last season. Michael Tolbert, what up, Michael? If you could add one former Raider all-time offense and defense to this team, who am I choosing? Oh, boy. Let's go with, let me look here. I mean, in all honesty, dude, I'm probably going to add, if I got to go defense, and this is coming from me, like, I want the Raiders to be able to add somebody on that defensive tackle room. Off top of my dome, and maybe this is me showing my newish Raiders mindset, I can't think of an elite defensive tackle off the top of my mind the same way that I can think of, like, a Charles Woodson or Howie Long. Like, if I can add somebody on that defensive line, like, could I say, hey, Howie, I need you to go play defensive end, and that allows Max to just be more of an outside linebacker in a 3-4 rule. Cool, let's roll with it. But in all honesty, I think the guy that actually makes the most sense for the Raiders on this defense, I'm going to go with Charles Woodson because that tells me I get an outside corner of just in case Jamad McCoy or Darian Porter's not ready. Well, hey, Woodson could play that role. Or can he potentially even drop back into safety? And it sounds like the Raiders want to be very versatile in that back end. So I'll say Charles Woodson on the back end. And then for the offense, this is where it gets kind of tricky and it gets a little bit difficult because you could look at an offensive lineman, right? Like I could pick I could say like a Jim Otto, but I would say we're pretty good at that center spot with Tyler Linderbaum. Is it crazy to say Tim Brown? Like, and again, like I like building the trenches, and I'm a believer that you got to be able to win in the trenches, but the number one area that concerns me the most right now is probably that wide receiver one. So I'll go Tim Brown on offense, and I'm going to go with Charles Woodson on defense. But if you guys want to let me know down below, Michael, I love that question. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. Nav man, what's going on, brother? Lyle Alzado, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a hell of a one. Well, of course, raffle me up for fantasy. Nav man, you already know, bro. You were one of the best in the league last season. I believe it was Nav and Rebel in our championship, if my memory serves me correct. But, Nav, I got you in, bro. Also, congratulations on you and the wife moving. I saw the pictures of the house in our Mount Raidermore group chat. Not that I've been wondering, where you've been, but it's more of like, I hope you're okay, right? It's funny sometimes, like, how often you talk to people on this program, and if I don't hear or see from you in like a week or two, I'm like, oh my God, I hope that he's all right. But I saw the house, built house, black and white truck, boat all silver and black or white. Let's go. Barring injury, Rams win the Super Bowl. You think the next 2 years? Do you think Aaron Donald comes out of retirement? There's been some rumors around it, dude.
He might be coming out of retirement.
There's been some rumors around it. No doubt about it. I see Seabass Seymour is an interesting one. Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp's a great one, but am I getting the Warren Sapp on the Raiders? I need the prime Warren Sapp. Bo Jackson on offense from Seth, but we already have Ashton. It's not that I don't think Bo's amazing. I'm trying to figure out where are the biggest areas that we need. But, Nav, it's good to have you here, man, and you got it. You got yourself a raffle ticket. O'Neal, Spurs or Knicks, Mitch? Oh, man. I'm actually so happy that the Thunder aren't in it, and I only say that because, truthfully, not that I don't care, I want the Knicks to win, okay? I do. I am rooting for the New York Knicks to win the NBA Finals. But at the exact same time, I think that this is going to be a 6-7 game series. You're going to watch Victor Wembanyama, and, in my lifetime, I always want to talk about greatness because, oftentimes you don't realize how great somebody is until, they're not playing anymore. And I love having the Michael Jordan debates. I love having the LeBron debates. Wouldn't it be awesome to get into another debate around that, like Victor Wembanyama? And if Wemby ends up winning a title now, that Spurs team's young. He could really, really start racking up some championships, and we could have another greatest of all time conversation. And as a sports fan, I love that, man. As a sports fan, if you're upset about having the greatest of all time conversation, I don't know. To me, I love that combo because I'd much rather watch good sports and the greats than watch a really bad product because I've seen some bad products, and I don't want to have to deal with, imagine the Raiders, right? Imagine the Raiders. So let me know who you guys got in the NBA Finals. You going to go with the New York Knicks? Give me an NYK. Or are you going to go with the San Antonio Spurs? Give me an SAS. Lopez, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? My mind is telling me Spurs, but my body's telling me the New York Knicks. What are you thinking?
I think the matchup to watch in this series is going to be how the Knicks get Wemby out of the paint on offense, and they have the perfect guy for that in Cat. Cat is going to have to be one of the top guys on offense for the Knicks and produce, especially along the three-point line in this series if they want a chance.
Okay.
Because Jalen Brunson loves to attack the rim.
Yep.
You need Wemby out of the paint. That's where you need Cat at the three-point line, where it's the corners, he likes the wings. He needs to hit shots. And he can. He is he is arguably the best three-point shooting big man ever.
So would you say your key to the Knicks winning the finals is Karl Anthony Towns? Is that your sleeper?
He needs to be the definite number 2 guy for the Knicks. I know they've kind of had, it's Jalen Brunson, and then maybe this guy will step up one game, or this guy will step up another game. Cat needs to be there however many games this goes if the Knicks want to win.
Okay. I like it. What do you guys think down below? I see Spurs all day, every day from Roy Rader. Knicks are going to get the win from Drop Top Blazer. Ike Nasty is going to go with the Spurs. I would say most people are thinking that the Spurs are going to win, though I do see a little bit of a mixed bag. Knicks hopefully from Big Raz. Yeah, I want the Spurs and Knicks series to go 7. Doug says, I don't care. How do you not care, Doug? Like, and don't get me wrong, I love the Raiders. But as a sports fan, how do you not care about the NBA Finals? Like,
I can see if you're like, oh, I don't like regular season basketball, but
Dude,
this is literally the best you're going to get.
I mean, even yesterday, again, like, there was not a lot of sports going on yesterday. So I was watching college baseball, and I watched the Alabama-Texas Tech women's softball game. Mm-hmm. Both of those games were unbelievable. Like, as a sports fan, I want to be able to watch sports.
Did you watch the Kentucky-West Virginia college baseball game last night?
So I watched it until the 10th inning. So what happened is, so the softball game, the Alabama girls and the Texas Tech girls were playing at the same time. I left my house yesterday, and I came back here to this work, and I got a workout in because that's when it was happening. The TV in the gym, I couldn't get to switch. It just, the remote, like, battery was dead. So I was like, all right, F it, I'm going to watch this softball game, which turned out to be an unbelievable softball game. Like, Alabama ties it up. Texas Tech ends up walking off, and then, Texas Tech ended up winning in game 2. But, like, dude, how did that game end? Because I saw it was 5-5 in the 10th inning. And
West Virginia ended up taking it in the 10th.
Did they? Good for them. Son of a gun. See, man, I really wish I would have watched that game then.
The way they got there, I thought Kentucky was going to win it after the 8th. When they had the back-to-back homers to tie it, come back from 5-1. I thought it was over. Ooh, Triz is in the studio.
Trizzy Trace in the stew. What's going on, man? What's up, what's up, what's up? No, but, dude, truly, like, it was... See, West Virginia, though, they have one of the top players, if not, like, he might be the number 1 overall pick, I want to say, in the 2027 MLB draft.
I'm not too well-versed in their team, I'm not going to lie.
He bats like, he's like a 380 hitter. He plays second base. I can't think of his name.
Dude.
I mean, Troy just took care of business against Florida.
I don't think the host made it to the championship in that super.
I mean, the College World Series I love because baseball. It's like I wish that you could figure out ways to make regular season college baseball, college basketball better. But dude, the College World Series is unbelievable. March Madness is unbelievable, and even though there's not a lot of there's no Raiders football really going on. Yeah, we get OTA practice updates here and there, but like as a sports fan, this is truly one of the best times of the year because you have the finals for hockey and in basketball. Now you have the College World Series. You have softball going down again. I'm a baseball guy, so I enjoy watching softball. I enjoy watching baseball. Oh, it's elite. This is a great
more of a variety in this time of the month. Like when football's on, it's really just football and like the beginning of basketball.
Well, that's my other problem. Like once football starts, the only thing I care about is football. Like college football, NFL. There is nothing else that's going to pique my. There is no way. MLB playoffs.
Yeah, but that's over in early November.
Yeah. No, I hear you, dude. Like, for trying to get through the off season, I got to find ways to be able to do it. I love being able to watch sports. It's why we're talking about it. And, again, I hope that people watch the Knicks and Spurs. If anybody's trying to get a lineup in on Prize Picks, I hope they use code HMA. You're going to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And since we're talking about the Knicks and Spurs, can you show them my lineup that I'm going to be rolling with? I should also mention there is a feature on Prize Picks where you guys can follow certain people. I think you guys should go follow my guy, Marshall Green. I was looking at Marshall's winnings the other day. My guy's won close to like $10,000 on Prize Picks. So if you want to follow somebody on Prize Picks, I think Marshall's a great person to do it. He's the host of our Knicks show. He's been able to win a lot of money doing lineups for the Knicks, and I'm telling you right now, I gave him a follow today. I'm probably going to be getting a lineup in around him. So the small lineup that I did for game one, this is a $10 to pay, 23 3-pick power play lineup. Jalen Brunson is the deal, 0.5 points. You're going to take the more on that. And then for Mikal Bridgers and for Stephon Castle, I went the more on these Goblin picks. This has happened 5 out of the last 5 games. This has happened 5 out of the last 5 games. So if you're a bigger spender, a bigger roller, if you want to put more money on that lineup, please don't be afraid. Go for it. But if you want to give me a follow on Prize Picks, I am at Mitchell Renz, 365. You pick more, you pick less on Prize Picks. You instantly $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Just make sure that you use code HMA Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So we're going to roll through the remainder of the Super Chats here on the program, and then I'm going to get into the very first segment that I got, which is from ESPN. Just break it down some rumors around the Raiders, and then I'm going to do another show, and that's going to be around the Raiders fixing a really big issue that they had last season. Stabler, if we need a big man in the middle, Chester McLaughlin. I mean, I hear you, but do you feel like we need, like, what do you all think is the biggest Raiders need right now? Right? Like, defensive tackle, no doubt about it, okay? Like, don't get me wrong. Defensive tackle is a big need on defense. I also think being able to go out and get a wide, like, to me, the biggest needs on this team is got to be defensive tackle, and it's got to be wide receiver. Maybe place kicker, you can make an argument on that. Like, somebody did say Seabass the other day. Like, shit, man, could you add Seabass to the equation? I don't think I'm going to do that. Like, if we were a team that was a Super Bowl away from being able to win it, then maybe, but I'm probably not going to say Seabass now that I say that off the top of my head. What do you guys think? Janikowski's an interesting one. I really do. I went with Charles Woodson and Tim Brown because I felt like that those fit our other big-time team needs. Nabman, this mother effer came over here to put a line in for internet and had zero motivation. No internet on a hotspot. Get the F out of here. Obviously a Chiefs fan. I'm just saying. Who you got in the AFC West this year? Well, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. I can understand that that's probably really frustrating overall. Man, I think the most frustrating things sometimes are when you don't know how to fix something personally. Now, maybe you do. I personally do not. But when I know that I don't know how to do something and I can't figure out how to do something, and then I bring somebody else in who's just got a little bit of get up in their step, that does bother me. Who do I think wins the AFC West this year? You guys are probably going to hate me. I'm probably going to say the Chiefs. I'm probably going to say the Chiefs. And I say that because I do actually think the team that has the most difficult schedule this upcoming season is the Chargers. Like for the Raiders, they have a net rest edge of 13.5. Last year, they had a net rest edge of -19. The Chargers this year have a negative net rest edge of -23. It's like the most in the last 20-something years since they started keeping the stat. On top of that, they play 4 teams this year coming off a bye. Only the Philadelphia Eagles play, and the Raiders have 3. Eagles have 4. So, like, that's a really difficult schedule for the Chargers. So I'm not going to pick the Chargers to win. I do think that the Super Bowl hangover or AFC West or AFC Championship hangover might be a thing a little bit for Denver, though I do like the Jalen Waddle move. But Bo Nix, I have no idea about. Like, I've seen some pictures of the leg. People are going to say he's healthy, but at the same time, I don't know. And then you got Mahomes with the ACL. I've torn my ACL. I know he's going to be ready week 1 with just medicine, the way the athletes are today. He's going to be good to go. I would say Chiefs are going to be my pick. And it sucks to say it, and I hate saying it, but I'm picking the Chiefs because I don't think it's going to be the Broncos because of Bo Nix, and I don't think it's going to be the Chargers because of how difficult that schedule is. And I just don't believe in Justin Herbert can win a big-time game. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and I hate saying it, but it's the truth. Husker, I'm taking the Knicks in 6 for my guy Bridges. I mean, Mikal Bridges has been playing some really, really good basketball. There's a reason why he's in my Prize Picks lineup. He's been somebody that I've been rolling with, and I've liked that I've been able to roll with them, and I did. I took the more on him for a reason. But Knicks in 6 would be absolutely electric. For the Knicks to be able to win it on their home court, right? Because the Spurs are game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Knicks are 3, 4, and 6. So yeah,
unbelievable. My tinfoil hat theory for this series, it's going to be over in 5. Because Game 6 in New York, you know what they also have in New York that same night? World Cup game.
Oh my God.
So my tinfoil hat theory
is they already.
It's over in 5. Don't care. Don't know who wins. It's over in 5. That's my theory.
I would be. I think this. But then again, dude, like I keep saying to myself, I think the team that won the Western Conference Finals is going to win it all. But the Knicks are playing really good basketball, and they're fresh. I don't know what the deal is with Mitchell Robinson and that hand, but
He said he's playing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's an offensive guy. Tape that thing up, play defense. That's all they need from him. Grab some boards. That's it. They're not asking. He couldn't shoot free throws to begin with.
That's what I mean. He couldn't shoot to begin with. Shout out to my guy Husker. What up, Bob? 81 Tim Brown. Let's go Raiders and the Raiders report. So it looks like, Bob, if you could pick one player from all these past Raiders teams to add to your roster, Bob's going to go with Tim Brown. And could you, Tim Brown, like, imagine this Raiders offense. Like, can you go to the depth chart that's got Genty in the middle? It's a 5 wide. I believe it's 12 personnel, I think is the way that it's titled. But, Bob, and to all the Raider fans out there, like, imagine this Raiders offense where you can replace Jalen or Trey, and you could place that person with a Tim Brown. Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Tim Brown, that's a hell of a Raiders offense. I don't care who you are. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that is one hell of a Raiders offense. No doubt about it. Bob, appreciate you. Let's go to C. Gabe Go. And friendly reminder, if you see a $10 super chat in the month of June, July, or August, it's going to be a raffle ticket to get in my fantasy football league. I haven't noticed, we haven't gotten a 20 yet for a wheel spin. If you're looking to get some more raffle tickets, it's probably the best deal that I actually have today on the show outside of the top 3 people getting a golden ticket. If you're trying to get in our duck race, it's a $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. I did just see 93 Nav. You got it in. And then Angela Sherlock got it in as well. 20 to win. Got to get more people in. The more people that join, the more money we can give away. What up, C. Gabe? Which one of our rookies, not named Mendoza or Stukes, gets the most playing time? See, here's the thing. I don't even know if you should put Mendoza in this equation. Like, if you were to ask me which rookie do I think gets the most playing time this upcoming season for the Raiders, I would say it's Traden Stukes, and I don't actually think it's even close. Like, I think Stukes outsnaps every one of our other rookies, and it's not close. What's going to be interesting is who's the other rookie that could potentially see over 500 snaps. Like, if Trey Zune starts, that's going to be an interesting player. Kieran Crawford, I see probably being somewhere around 300. Can Drummond McCoy stay 100% healthy? If he can, it would be McCoy. So I will say the player, not named Mendoza or Stukes, to get the most playing time, it's not going to be Dalton. Malik Benson would be an interesting option. Brandon Cleveland. Again, if you told me Drummond McCoy plays 17 games, I'll go with Drummond McCoy. But I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Trey Zune, dude. Like, and I don't know if the Raiders are just trying to get Zune to be a starter really quickly. And one of the videos that you guys will see today, I'm kind of talking about why I love the Raiders just coming up with a plan and executing it. And it's the way that they're using Zune, dude. Like, Zune played basically only center and left tackle in college, right? That's where they played him. Left tackle and center is basically where Trey Zune played in college. And the Raiders this offseason have been using him at right tackle, right guard, and left guard. And I think what that is doing is they're just trying to get a complete picture of what this guy can do at literally every single spot on your offensive line. And I've been hearing a lot of really good stuff about Zune. So I'll go Trey Zune. Fuck it. Let's do it. Trey Zune. I'll say Zune, followed by McCoy, followed by Benson would probably be the other guys that I think end up getting it. Spurs in 7, Knicks in 6. Oh, excuse me. Spurs in 7, Knights in 6, Dodgers 3-peat. Christ almighty, I hope one of those doesn't happen. I can't do a Dodgers 3-peat, bro. Can't do a Dodgers 3-peat.
It's just kind of destined to happen.
I actually think it would be bad for baseball if the Dodgers 3-peat. If the Dodgers 3-peat, without a doubt, there's going to be a lockout holdout next year.
Yeah, well, supposedly the numbers that the owners proposed weren't as bad as a lot of people thought they were going to be. So
okay, we'll see.
That's some good news.
We'll
Obviously,
see.
They didn't agree yet, but it's better. We're at a better starting point than we thought we would be.
That's what I like to hear. Stabler. We need a home run hitter on offense. See, but why can't Tim Brown be a home run hitter? Why is Cliff Branch, who, don't get me wrong, is great, and Henry Ruggs is a speedster, but with all due respect, I think anybody that wants Henry Ruggs back on this Raiders team is a moron, and I hope that if that offends you, I'm sorry, but we think we just got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. I said this the other day on this show. I kind of went on a rant, but, again, I don't know. There were so many people pointing the finger at Jackson Dart, and I don't want to get into politics, but people pointing the finger at being mad at Jackson Dart for saying what he, opening up at the White House. Again, but why are we still talking about Henry Ruggs? Let's stop talking about Ruggs. I think it's a ridiculous thing to even think about. But why can't Tim Brown be a home run hitter, right? To me, if we're going to talk about baseball, if we're going to talk about baseball analogy, I think Tim Brown is a guy that's going to maybe hit 280, but hit 45 freaking dingers and put some balls over the fence compared to, again, Cliff Branch, he's a speedster, but there's no way that Branch was a more complete wide receiver than Tim Brown. I don't know how Tim Brown's not a home run hitter, I guess. When did home run hitter just become only speed? Is that an unfair thing to say? Am I being crazy for that? Again, Tim Brown is a home run. Tim Brown on this Raiders offense, I think is absolutely a home run hit. Is he a home run hitter? I don't want it to just be speed into the equation, because if we're talking about complete hitter, Tim Brown was probably the most complete wide receiver that the team has had, and he wasn't afraid to block, which I think would fit really well with what Click Kubiak likes to do. Yoda Jenkins, what's going on, man? I'm late. Hopefully your wife didn't say that. This is good for a fantasy raffle. Yes, sir, Yoda Jenkins, Mount Raider more. I don't know basketball. My coin flip says the Spurs. Knights in 7. By the way, go to saveawarrior.org. Yes, if you guys do not know, if you send in a $10 super chat in June, July, or August, I'm going to put this in for a fantasy football raffle, and at the very end of each month, we will put people in my fantasy football league that I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a 16-team league this year, and we already have a few people that are already in. The deals that I'm doing today, $10 super chat fantasy raffle ticket. If you want more raffle tickets, $20 for the wheel spin. I think it's probably one of the best deals I got today. $20 Venmo to get in our duck race. And the last time that I checked, it was, if you want to show them the wheel, you can.
Yeah.
So the wheel is this. There's options to get 2 raffle tickets, 4 raffle tickets, 3 raffle tickets, and then 5 tickets. So if you're doing the math at home, a $20 spin could be worth $50, $40, $30, or at worst, $20, 2 tickets. So if you're trying to get in our fantasy football league, Michael Johnson, I see you in our duck race. What's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in to the program today. Yeah, Yoda, I'm not, again, man, I'm not really too big on, I know basketball. I like basketball, but I don't know it as well as I do football and can be able to talk about it. But, yeah, it is what it is. Mitch, love brother, always praying for you and yours from Marcos. Thank you, Marcos. Right back at you, man. Again, for people that are watching the show in the middle of June, you guys are my real ones. I depend and I count on you guys so much in the offseason because when Raiders news is happening, it's kind of easy to talk about it, right? It's easy to go. On a Tuesday show where there's nothing really has come out, that's where I'm like, hey, hit me with some questions, hit me with some comments. Let's talk about literally anything that can come to your mind around the NFL or the Raiders. And I don't think any question is a dumb question. Actually, that's not true. There are some dumb questions, but I think you know what those dumb questions are. When it comes to the Raiders, I hope that any question you guys have, I will always, always, always answer to the best of my ability. Yeah, we'll see. Sheffy, Mount Raider more in the building. What's up, man? I see you. I see you. I see you. Mitch, I'm not down with you dissing Branch from Stabler. I don't think I diss Cliff Branch by saying Tim Brown's a more complete receiver. Is that a diss? Stabler, I mean, is that I don't think that that's a diss at all. Like, I'll ask some of the old school Raider fans out there, who's a better receiver, Tim Brown or Cliff Branch? Like, I don't think that that's a diss at all. But again, maybe I'm wrong for saying that because I think Tim Brown was a more complete receiver than Cliff Branch. But Cliff had more speed. Is that a fair thing to say? If that's me dissing him, then I guess I dissed him. But I don't think that I did. I don't think that I did. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, and I think it's kind of... I was making the statement more, you're calling Cliff Branch a home run receiver. I was making the argument that I think Tim Brown is a home run receiver. Brown over Branch, I'm old school. Hey, all right. Jerry Rice, better too. But see, the way that I look at Jerry Rice is I don't view the 49ers Jerry Rice in this equation, right? Like if I can add 49ers Jerry Rice, sure, I'm going to add him. But I look at it more from Jerry Rice from the Raiders. Like Jerry Rice on the Raiders, I think Tim Brown was the better one. That's how I look at it. Husker! Let's spin that wheel. As a non-hockey guy, live games and playoffs are actually great. Oh, dude, I actually don't know if there's a sport I enjoy more from a non-live to a live perspective. Like, I will watch basketball on TV. I will watch baseball on TV. I will watch football on TV. Going to those games live, obviously I enjoy it. It's not too often will I watch a hockey game on TV that's not like that I have either a Prize Picks lineup in or the Stanley Cup. The difference between, the gap between how much I love the sport from watching it on TV to watching it live, for me, hockey's the biggest. Does that make sense? Like, watching a live hockey game is unbelievable, dude. It's probably one of the best things to do in sports, truthfully. So we're going to spin this wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's how many tickets Husker Raider is going to be going home with. And a friendly reminder that right now, Sherlock, Husker, and Navman are in our top 3 for XP. You 3 would all get a golden ticket for a shot to get in my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League at the end of June. And right now, as it stands, the only people that have a golden ticket, Rebel Montana, and it would be you 3. That's it as it stands right now. So let's get this wheel spin going for my guy, Husker Raider. Shout out to all y'all here in the building. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Please make sure that you do so. Husker! 2 raffle tickets for you, my guy. 2 raffle tickets. Rice is the number 1 wide receiver, non-debatable. But again, like I disagree. Like, Jerry Rice is the number 1 receiver all time. But the Jerry Rice from the 49ers is not who the Raiders had. So like when I think of Jerry Rice, I don't think of Jerry Rice as the greatest Raiders receiver of all time. I don't. Like, do you think Randy Moss then? Like, are you going to put Randy Moss? Like, if you're going to say, oh, let's add a receiver, right? If we're going to play this game, can I add Randy Moss? Because the year that the Raiders traded him away, he went to the New England Patriots, dude put up 23 touchdowns. Like, to me, if you're going to add Randy Moss to this team, you're getting the Raider Randy Moss. And I don't want the Raider Randy Moss. Yep. TB was my first jersey, 81, loved the nation. I mean, Tim Brown is an iconic jersey. I've wanted to meet Tim Brown for a while. He actually lives down here in this area. He's always doing stuff with the DFW Raiders group, and he's one player, he's one guy that I am really, really hoping that I can meet someday. And again, like, I've heard he's a good dude. I've heard he's a competitive guy still at an older age, but I hope that I get to meet Tim Brown here relatively soon. Tim Brown is the best receiver the Raiders have had all around. Veteran Cliff Brown, because he can run route tree. Cliff is more of streaks from Scheffler. Again, I think Cliff was the guy that you needed to go deep. And I don't think that that's an unfair thing to say. I mean, dude had elite speed, 4.3 speed. Elite speed. All right, I believe we are all caught up on all of the Super Chats, which means we're going to get in to my first segment up here on the show, which is going to be from ESPN. I think ESPN, they put out some rumors on the Raiders. When I say rumors, again, like there's going to be articles out there. I'm always going to give you guys my opinion on what I think people are saying about this organization. Some stuff I decide to chime into. Some stuff I decide to not even stoke the flame at all. It's not worth my time. But then there's other stuff, you know, when I see it, I'm like, all right, let's talk about this a little bit more. So I got rumors coming in from ESPN, and then at the very end of the show, I will get into a segment around the Raiders fixing a problem, because I think the Raiders fixed a major, major problem this offseason, and I'm happy that they were able to do it in one offseason, and I want fans to know that. All right, are we all caught up? We are almost all caught up. I got you. So we got 2 segments, and then after that, I will do a duck race. I still right now see 3 people. I see Nav, Sherlock, Michael Johnson that have gotten in the duck race so far. And then I believe Richard Black is in now. Sherlock threw it up. Stabler throwing it down. Bang! The question was, who would you add to this team from the past teams? I took that to mean, who would you add the most to the present team? That is why it's Branch on offense, not Brown. We have a Tim Brown. His name is Brock Bowers. Again, Tim Brown is a great player, but I don't think Tim Brown and Brock Bowers are all that comparable. I don't. Like, I know what you're thinking. Like, to me, I think you said, all right, I need to add a wide receiver that can stretch the field. And yes, he can stretch the field. Cliff Branch can. My argument was more of, I would rather get a number 1 wide receiver. And if I'm going to get a number 1 wide receiver, like Cliff would be the number 1 on this team, but I also think being able to get a guy in Tim Brown would just be the better fit. But again, like, that's what makes the debate fun, right? Like, my part where I came, I didn't even mean like I didn't really come at you. It was more like I don't think that I was disrespectful to Cliff Branch, and that was my more argument. But I don't think Tim Brown and Brock are comparable. And it's not that's not a knock on Tim Brown. Like, there's just not many guys that are the size of Brock Bowers that can play that tight end position, because you wouldn't want Tim Brown to play the Brock Bowers position, just like you wouldn't want Brock Bowers to play Tim Brown's position. Like, I would want Tim Brown to go out there and play wide receiver. But I get you, Stabler. I got you. I'll tell you this, though. It would be interesting. Cliff Branch on this offense. No doubt about it. Shield, what up, Nav? Spin it, Mitch. Much love to the nation. Much love to my brothers in Mount Raidermore. All Raider fans are welcome to my new place and my old place in Tennessee. 2 mortgages are going to suck, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have any mortgages, and it sucks. It's tough for me right now. But I think it's also, like, you know, pat yourself on the back. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, 2 mortgages is something that I do think that you should be proud of. Now, obviously, it's how you handle and that you make sure that you're still paying them. But, you know, I'm happy that you're here, Nav. I think you always bring so much positivity to the show. And I think anybody that, like, knows Nav, man, knows, like, Nav's going to bring the energy. So let's spin that mother effer. Let's get it going, man. What do we got here? What's Nav going to get today? If you don't know what we're spinning the wheel for, we are spinning the wheel to try to get in my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League, though. Back-to-back 2 raffle ticket getters. Back-to-back 2 raffle tickets. For Nav, shout out to you, bro, and Husker. Though right now, Nav and Husker, I will say, have the most tickets. Unbroken Streetwear. I love that logo you have, by the way. Why is it a big deal that the Dodgers three-peat and ruin baseball, but the Yankees did the same thing in the 90s, 2000s? It's kind of lame. Well, I'm not going to get into all the other reasons, but I actually don't totally disagree with what you're saying. I don't. I don't totally disagree with it. But I think when you just look at the overall money that's being spent, it seems like the Dodgers are spending way more money than just about everybody. But then again, the Mets are spending a lot too. And the Mets haven't been able to win anything. Huh? I'll say, I think actually the Mets have the number 1 payroll. So I knew it was Dodgers and Mets were right there. It was very, very close. Again, I don't like the Yankees. And I get now why this question's coming in here. And this is why you're kind of calling me out, and I'm glad that you're doing it. I enjoy a level playing field. And I think that baseball has kind of had this problem for a while where I almost wish they would do a salary cap. Like, I want the smaller market teams to be able to compete better with the larger market teams. And I don't want always the biggest and best players to kind of go to the same destinations that I feel like that they always kind of go to. So, I don't watch baseball as closely as I do the NFL, but in that same token, like, could you imagine if all the best players only went to the Chiefs, the Rams, or these certain teams? And maybe some of the teams do get some of these best players because they've been able to win over the years, but I do. I think right now there's a lot of great players that just are going to the Dodgers because those guys can get paid more. Maybe it's not a good example, but you're not wrong. The Yankees did it for a long time. It's why they have, 27 championships?
Yep.
I mean, you look at a lot of the old-time teams, though. It used to happen, right? The Celtics of old, the Lakers of old. I mean, I just don't want to see them win again. How about that? Gunny, what's up, man? I'm up what I'd miss. What up, fam? SaveAWarrior.org for veterans, first responders, struggle and support if you can. Semper Fi. Again, this is Father Tom. You're going to hear a lot of people talk about Save a Warrior on this show. And, again, if you know somebody that's struggling, don't be afraid to tell them about Save a Warrior. They do a lot of amazing stuff over there, and all the proceeds benefit all the Warriors that are struggling. We lose somebody, what is it, Gunny? 22 veterans every single day? So, shout out to my guy, Gunny. Jersey boy, I'm predicting a Myles-level trade for the Raiders next year. Justin Jefferson and Kubiak reunion after another failed offense experiment by Minnesota. See, here's the thing. When you're saying a Myles level trade, Myles Garrett went for 1 first-round pick. I don't know how Justin Jefferson goes for anything. I don't know how you only get him for 1.
It was the first-round pick, but Jared Verse, also a young up-and-coming pass rusher. So the Raiders don't really have that unless, I guess they could be okay, Brock Bowers for Justin Jefferson, but that wouldn't really do anything to the offense. So you'd probably have to throw in significantly more draft capital.
Would you do what about this, Jersey boy? Let's play this game. I think actually Minnesota has a need at tight end. I don't know. They have Hawkinson.
I think Bowers would be a big upgrade because I think he's coming off injury, Hawkinson.
Yeah, but I wouldn't trade Brock Bowers.
But you get Justin Jefferson.
It's going to be, I think it's worth a debate. I think Brock Bowers, Justin Jefferson, honestly is worth a debate based on the Clint Kubiak offense. It would be a hell of a debate to get into, but I do think it would honestly be worth a debate. And I think we're about to get into a very interesting time around the NFL because I do think it's a little bit of a copycat league. And I think the reason why you're seeing teams like the Rams and some of these other teams really utilize tight ends, because tight ends don't get paid near what wide receivers get paid. And I think because you can build an offense, you can build teams kind of around that lower salary cap. I wonder if Brock Bowers making, I don't know, $24 million a year, highest paid tight end in the NFL. Or Justin Jefferson making 40, both players are unbelievably talented, but what could you build around more? I think it'd be a really fun conversation to be able to have. But I'll tell you this right now, I would not want to trade Brock Bowers, even if that meant I was getting Justin Jefferson. I would want to figure out a way to hang on to Brock because I think players like Brock Bowers don't grow on trees.
Yeah, if that was the case, then you're throwing in a lot of draft capital.
Well, no, that's what I mean. And you're going to have to throw in a lot of draft capital. But, for the Raiders, to me, The only reason why Jersey Boy, I don't think this is ever going to happen is because of the amount of draft capital it would require. Like, again, I don't know. Like, does Kirk Cousins go back to Minnesota and we eat every single dime of it? Like, you send Kirk, but again, they have Kyler. Like, I don't think that makes any sense for them. JJ, I don't know how this trade works because to me, the Raiders are going to want their draft capital.
Yeah.
Or, how about this? If the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick again, then I actually think that this could happen.
But if you're going to do something like that, why don't you just draft Jeremiah Smith?
I agree.
You would get a rookie receiver on a rookie contract.
Again, I'm trying to think of a trade that we could do for Justin Jefferson. Like, that wouldn't cost all of our draft capital throughout many, many years. Because, like, you make a move like this is a Super Bowl type move.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, to go get Justin Jefferson. I'm trying to think of a way, Jersey Boy. Maybe the Raiders make a trade with a team. That team sucks. And then they have the number 1 overall pick. And then the Raiders end up getting it. And because the Raiders are actually good.
And they don't need the number 1 pick. It's like, oh, we'll just go get Justin Jefferson because who's going to stop us?
That's my guess. But I agree with you. I would rather draft Jeremiah Smith. And that's another crazy thing to maybe say. Like, are you going to take Jeremiah Smith over a proven commodity in Justin Jefferson?
Well, I think in that scenario, you would have to go with the rookie there because you know you're not a Justin Jefferson away from a Super Bowl, most likely. So why would I want to take on that $40 million contract?
Would you take Justin Jefferson knowing Justin Jefferson's Justin Jefferson? Or would you take a Jeremiah Smith on a rookie contract?
If I had the number 1 overall pick and if I'm the Raiders, I would have to go Jeremiah Smith because that means that we were horrible last year, too. Does adding a $40 million receiver turn us from a 3 to 4 win team to a 10, 11, 12 win team?
God, could you imagine
Probably
that
not,
offense?
though.
Jeremiah Smith, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Fernando Mendoza. I mean, that sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, that would be a lot more of a build for the future move.
I agree.
Justin Jefferson is a win now. And I don't
It's
know.
a win now move.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Raiders have.
And I would love for the Raiders to be that, but
are they a Justin Jefferson away?
no. The unfortunate answer to that is no. I was there. Timmy Brown was 3rd all time in receiving. I'm trying to. I know for a while there, when I was like tracking the single season reception record, because Tim Brown, I know 1 year had 104 grabs. And then Waller was catching it. Bowers was catching it. But Tim Brown's been one player that the more and more I go back and I listen to some old school Raider fans talk, I think that what they appreciate about Tim Brown was he was just an elite professional receiver. It's probably the best way that I can put it. Preston Rodriguez, what's going on, man? What would happen if there was a salary cap with the players making that $300 million plus type wages? Would they be grandfathered or would the players' contracts be restructured to stay compliant? I don't know what you're asking me.
I think he's talking about baseball because I asked one of our
because the salary cap for NFL is already over $300 million.
I think he's talking about baseball because I think that was like one of the numbers that was pitched as like $300 million. From what I understood from talking to some of the baseball guys in the office, the players would be grandfathered in, but those teams wouldn't be able to sign anybody. They wouldn't be able to make any moves. They would be set for their rosters until this money starts clearing. They could trade some of that. They could trade contracts away.
Okay.
But they can't acquire guys until they're under that money, is the way that I understood it.
Okay. Again, I appreciate the question, but I don't know all the ins and outs about baseball. I don't. But good news is, Preston, you got a raffle ticket to get in our fantasy league. I know, I guess, when I hear people bringing up questions all the time about sports, it makes me wonder because, to me, the questions that I get all the time that drive me nuts for a while, was always like Derek Carr. Now the Henry Ruggs questions are coming up. Like, there's just certain questions that when you get them a lot, there's a reason why they're being asked. So I try to find what's the reason why they're being asked. And I'm hoping with a salary cap in baseball, I don't know, like, I just want it to be more fair. And maybe that's And maybe that's recency bias because of what the Dodgers have done the last few years. Caesar Lorenzo, what up, man? Mitch, can we get a collab with you? Oh, man. Unfortunately, the answer to that's going to be no. Again, Wasted. Wasted's a really good guy. We used to make some content back in the day, but I don't want to bring up other content creators on this show. And I think Wasted and I have had conversations. I think he knows that I have a lot of respect for him as a person, and I think he feels the exact same way about me. But, at the end of the day, man, I got to associate myself with people that I think are doing, right things and doing the proper things. Not to say that Wasted's not, but Wasted, unfortunately, associates himself with somebody that I will not associate myself with. And, throughout the years of me doing this show, you kind of learn some parts of the unfortunate game that is played behind closed doors out there. And, again, I got nothing but love and respect for Wasted. But at the same time, I can't associate myself with people that associate themselves with people that I don't think are, the right people to associate myself with. I guess I'll leave it like that. Unbroken Streetwear, what's going on, man? I appreciate the honesty and compliment on the logo. Well, honestly, the logo's sick. I actually think the logo is it's the first thing that I noticed. I think it's really freaking cool. I'll DM you on IG. Would love to send you in Chugs. Raider tees I got coming soon. Yep, please do. Don't be afraid to send us anything. I will say this, if you guys want to send, if you want to send Chug something, he will obviously be appreciative of it. He will always, always love Raider Nation. He does a lot of other stuff now behind closed doors, but truthfully, we're going to be having Lopez, Reed, and maybe even somebody else doing a lot of the producing for the Raiders this upcoming year. You guys honestly might get Chugs maybe once a week during the regular season. And I would say that's probably on a Thursday night football happy hour show. My honest guess. But if you want to send Chug something, please do not be afraid to do it. Do not be afraid to do it. But, to me, man, I think when something is working and it's not fair, and again, this comes from a Mets fan who's spending more, but it's clear. Not every MLB team can spend money the way that the Dodgers do it. So because that is that, I would like for it to be a little bit more even. Again, I kind of respect it about football, right? Where everyone's got to get underneath that salary cap. Though, there's other teams that have advantages that other teams don't. Look at the Broncos. The Broncos are able to eat a lot of dead money because their owners are worth billions upon billions or more. Raider Ron, what's up, man? Raider who I want back is the architect, Al Davis, in his prime. Is the architect. I'll tell you this. I actually don't know.
I think he's talking. I think the architect is Al Davis.
Is Al Davis, was that his nickname? Was the architect? Wow, I actually did not know this. So Al Davis's nickname was the architect. I'll say this all the time, and I love when you guys do this stuff. That's why I want people to hit that subscribe button. Don't get me wrong. Do I think that there's going to be days where I provide a lot of good information and you're going to learn something? Yeah, at least I hope so. There's going to be days where it's beer chugging and some other stuff. But I promise you this, you guys will become smarter Raiders fans from watching this show. And again, some of you are probably going, well, you didn't know it was called The Architect? I did not, man. I really didn't. But this is kind of a chess to checkers move, right? We're talking about Tim Brown. We're talking about all these other players here that you could add. But I also know this, if you don't have the right guys calling the shot. What about, can I bring back John Madden? I love Clint Kubiak. But if we're talking offense, defense, well, I can bring back Al and I can bring back John. Can we do that? Can we get that cooking? Shout out to Raider Ron, man, one of the realest in the biz. And if you guys don't know, this Thursday, we are doing a Raiders Report happy hour show, but also, obviously, it's week 7. We got the Rams, and it's kind of perfect time and going up against Myles Garrett in a Madden simulated game. But Raider Ron did some Raider Ron type shit on Friday happy hour. He dropped a double gonger, if you will. $1,000 Venmo. Lopez and I, we got to do 4 locos, play some beer pong. I've been really banged up on some Raiders Report shows throughout my years. I'm not kidding you. I think this Thursday might be one of the worst for me of all time.
Do you remember the deal that you made with me on Friday
I'll give you $100 if you beat me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I'm coming for it.
I don't blame you. I'll have $100 for you. I'll have it in cash. $100 cash if you beat me. So if you guys want a crazy Thursday, it's the final day of Raiders OTA, so I'm a little bit nervous, but it's going to be a wild, wild, wild show. And it's going to be this Thursday, Raiders-Rams, followed by Thursday happy hour. And actually, I'm going to do it a little bit differently this week. So the way that I'm going to do it is it's going to be 2 different live streams. So we'll do the Raiders-Rams game as one, and then we're going to start, basically going to be auto-direct to happy hour.
So would that cut out the editing that we have to do for?
Correct.
Got it.
It's kind of the point, kind of the goal. / I've had a few Raider fans who've been like, Mitch, I haven't been able to find Raiders Friday happy hour. Where is it? And we've been cutting out certain spots, so it's just the Madden stream. So that way when people go back on later dates and they look it up. So what I'm going to start doing for Friday happy hour moving forward is I'm going to do 2 different live shows. So it's going to be the game, and then we will start a new one for Friday happy
We'll
hour.
get off for 5 minutes
5
max,
minutes.
probably. It won't be long.
Yeah.
Just stay by your computer.
Correct. So shout out to Raider Ron for being an absolute legend every single day. Every single day. All right. We got, I believe, Stabler for president coming in. And then after this, we will get into our first segment on the show. I have watched both eras of Branch and Brown. I think Branch is better overall. But if you only come from the Brown era, you will probably pick Brown. Okay? Hey, again, I'm not going to debate around something that I didn't watch live. Because I am a big believer, when people hit me with certain things, I'm like, bro, I've watched every single Raiders game, right? Recent game. So I do think if you've watched it, that's fine. I can only go off of what I've heard, and based off of what I've heard, Tim Brown sounds to be the better overall receiver than Cliff Branch. But I think that this is a cool debate. I think that I'm also proud that you're saying it with your chest and you keep coming at me with it, because that's what I want. I want that type of conversation here on the Raiders Report. You should want that conversation. I don't want people that just agree with everything that I say. I don't think anybody should. Oh my Lord. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. How about we get to that one?
And then we start the segment?
And then we start it? Or do we do the segment and then go to it?
It's about to load in.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Now, if someone follows that up, I'm not guaranteeing that we get to you before the next segment.
Ooh, it'll be a hell of an alley-oop. It will be a hell of an alley-oop. Though I am looking right now at the duck race. Michael Johnson got himself another duck. And then I see Charles G is in 20 to win, $60 here on the Raiders Report. Isaac Hernandez throwing it up there. Sorry I'm late. Doctor visit for the daughter. Hey, don't ever apologize for that. Hopefully everything's okay with your daughter. Hopefully everything's all right. Again, I went to a doctor's appointment the other day with my wife, Alex. I went to an OBGYN. It was one of the most crazy appointment, I'll tell you that.
That was my dream job coming out of high school.
Dude, I don't think it is, man. I think that's a job that you probably think as a high school, a middle school, high school
You're
kid.
that's so sick.
And then, dude, some of the stuff that they probably see on a daily basis,
God.
It's got to be unbelievable. It's got to be unbelievable. Though
Turn me gay.
Alex's OBGYN, he's a big sports fan. And actually, the assistant that works with Alex, if Alex ever heard me talking about this, she would. She's in Portland, so I know I'm safe. She'd kill me, though. But the doctor's assistant's husband is a Raiders fan. So the one day, I got obviously I'm wearing shorts, I got a Raiders tattoo, and the woman, she's like, oh, my husband, he's a big Raiders fan. Basically, I'm guessing you're a Raiders fan. I was like, yeah, this and that. Doctor walks in. We start talking a little bit of Raiders football. He's a Cowboys fan. We start talking college, this and that. And now every time that I go to appointments with Alex, he will talk to me about sports while he's doing his job.
While he's under the hood.
Yeah. And I think it kind of I don't know. I don't know if it bothers Alex, but I think she's also like very much like, can you lock into what you're doing? Like,
he's down there and he's like, "Hey, did you see that Wemby game last night?"
I mean, dude, seriously, like he'll be like, he loves talking about Fernando Mendoza. So he's just down there doing his thing, and he'll be like, "So, like, what'd you think about the Raiders drafting Fernando? We were talking about Cousins the other day," and I'm like, "All right."
Make sure you don't want to lock into this, right? You don't want to lock in real fast.
It's wild, man. It's wild, wild, wild. All right, Isaac. Shout out to you, man. Isaac, I don't know if you know this, but today, whoever's in our top 3 for XP, which right now I bring this up because, Isaac, you are in our top 3 right now. Stabler for President's the MVP right now. Sherlock's number 2. And then Isaac Hernandez comes in at number 3. Whoever's in our top 3 today, you're going to get yourself a golden ticket. And during the offseason in June, July, and August, I'm going to be holding a raffle to get into my fantasy league. I'm going to be holding a golden ticket raffle to get into my fantasy league. And then whoever bangs the most in this month, you're also going to get in to the fantasy football league. So for June, July, and August, that's a bang, golden ticket, and fantasy raffle for all 3 of those months. That's 9 spots that'll get filled for my Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. So we're going to start, again, like total XP is based on Super Chats. It's based on comments. And that's how I'm really going to be able to do a lot of things moving forward on this show. So, again, I'm trying to think of more and more ways to get you all involved. I've been doing this program for a long time, and in the months that are June, July, August football is really back. But June, July, it's like, hey, man, I want people that are die-hard Raiders Report fans to also get and be a part of things that, maybe people in September and October, not that I don't want people in September, October, but like people in fantasy football league, I want people that are watching the show May, June, July to get in my fantasy football league. Probably the best way that I can put it. But, all right, let's get into our first show today. I got 2 segments. We've been live here for 90 minutes, and we're about to get into the very first segment here on the program today. So I got 2 segments for you. I got a duck race. Obviously, if we get any other super chats, any other comments that end up flowing in, we will get them up here, up on the screen, and I will do my best to be able to answer them for you. So, all right, you ready to rock? This one is the combo, by the way. Combo. So let me actually get to my correct spot. Hang on, y'all. I got to get to the right spot in my doc. All right, I am ready to rock. Y'all ready to rock and roll? First segment coming up here on the Raiders Report. If you're ready to go, type me down below. To all the moderators out there that are always here, thank you so much, man. To all the Raiders fans that are here in the offseason, thank you so much. This show means a lot to me, and I hope that you guys see how much time, effort my team and I put in during the offseason, even when there's not a lot of Raiders stuff going on. Justin Buckman, what's up, my brother? What's up? Ready? All right, y'all, coming up, some good and some bad rumors from ESPN. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, presented by Prize Picks. Reminder, use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So ESPN dropped some rumors around the Las Vegas Raiders that I would say are good and bad for fans out there. The article was titled 100 Days to the 2026 NFL Season, and it had a bunch of predictions, had some injuries. There was like 14 different articles inside of one gigantic article. So the Raiders were talked about 3 different times by ESPN. The first thing that they brought up was the fact that the Raiders were going to win less than 6.5 games. When ESPN talks about something, I find myself talking about it on this channel because when I first created this show, it was like, what are the top trending topics that are out there? What are fans talking about? And like, what are the top articles that fans are sending me? So, do I think that the Raiders are going to win less than 6.5 games this season? I'm going to give this one 2 just win babies, and I'm going to say that people are talking, and I do think that it is a true coin flip to be able to figure out whether or not the Raiders win more or less games than 6.5, and I'll be real with you, like, I am hoping that the Raiders win more games than that, right? Like, I really, truly am, and if you didn't see this article in a section that was basically the 10 best bets section of that ESPN article, they said one of the best bets that you could make out there is saying that the Raiders were going to win less than 6.5 games. The reason why ESPN says this is because, one, the Raiders aren't good enough, and two, a really difficult schedule. The Raiders, no doubt, have a very, very difficult schedule, and I've already done an entire video on how much more difficult it is than what you actually realize that it is. And if you want to go see it, you can go check it out. It's on the channel. But this is why ESPN believes that the Raiders are going to win less than 6.5 games. They should improve from last season's 3-14 finish. But asking a rebuilding roster with a rookie quarterback tied to a bottom-tier defense and lingering trench concerns to reach 7 wins is aggressive. Las Vegas upgraded its infrastructure this offseason, yet its schedule lacks, quote, easy wins, and the margin for error remains very thin. So when you first see this thing and you first hear everything that, they're kind of talking about, do I agree with the idea that it's going to be difficult for the Raiders to win some football games this season? Yes. Yes, I do. But when you hear 6.5 games, I hope that the first thing that pops into your mind is like, all right, well, how many games are they going to win? And I'm going to ask all of y'all that right now. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So you're going to see on this video right underneath it, the very, very first thing that I want you to comment on is how many games do you think that the Raiders are going to win this upcoming season? Do you think it's going to be less than 6.5? Do you think it's going to be more than 6.5? My answer is going to be coming up here right after this quick little break. The reason why I'm going to say more, and again, I am a hopeful Raiders fan, and when you do a show like this, especially in the offseason, I think you got to be hopeful. I think, if you're a fan of the Raiders, call me crazy, call me hopeful, call me a Raiders fan, you got to be hopeful that they're going to win more games than 6.5. I'll tell you that right now, because I will say anywhere between 7 to 10 is what I'm hoping for. And I could see the Raiders winning 7 to 10 games. I'm definitely hoping that that's the route that we end up going, but it is tough, and there's no doubt about it that it's really, really difficult to be able to do. But if anybody out there wants to see how many games I predicted the Raiders to win, I actually have an entire video that is scripted and made, and it is my top Raiders. It's my entire Raiders schedule breakdown, and it's my record prediction for the 2026 season. I'll put this video for you guys down in the comments, down in the description of the program. If you want to see me just go through it, each individual game of why I'm saying what I'm saying. But if you've never seen this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things going on around the Las Vegas Raiders. But let's go to the next reason here. Why, again, I can understand why Raiders fans out there are wondering about that 6.5 games, because I do agree that ESPN does think that the Raiders have a tough schedule. I'll talk about Mendoza here in a little bit. We'll probably get to Mendoza in a little. But for ESPN, they were right about that tough 2026 schedule. No doubt about it. And when you think about how tough that 2026 schedule is, it's really freaking difficult, man. There's no doubt. And I know that a lot of Raider fans out there are concerned about this schedule, because when you think about the schedule, okay, the Raiders' third worst net rest advantage, that's negative 13.5, okay? So when you think about the grand scheme of net rest advantage, the Raiders have the third worst net rest advantage. Does that make sense? So that means they are a minus 13.5. The Raiders play 3 teams coming off a bye, third most in the NFL. The Raiders also play the toughest defensive schedule in 2026, according to Warren Sharp. And I kind of go into more details on a video around this. So if anybody wants to check it out, it is on the channel. Please don't be shy. Go check that bad boy out. But then, the other part about why I don't want Raider fans to sleep and why I don't want ESPN to sleep in on the idea is because, like Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk Cousins, to me, is a good quarterback. And I think Kirk Cousins is getting slept on a little bit from the NFL, from fans out there, because Kirk was a good quarterback for the final few games of last season. And he was. He played pretty damn well. And when you look at what Kirk Cousins was able to do over those final few games, they were winning games. They were. This was the Atlanta Falcons with Kirk Cousins over those final 4 games. You beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You beat the Arizona Cardinals. You beat the Los Angeles Rams. You beat the New Orleans Saints. And then while you did that, you still had 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Overall, Kirk Cousins played a solid final back half of that season. So, I get ESPN is concerned and that, they're talking about a rookie quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, but let's not sleep on Kirk Cousins because I do think that the Raiders can win more than 6.5 games, but I also gave it 2 just win babies because it is a really tough schedule, and I know it's a really tough schedule. And yes, the Raiders could have improved in some other areas, but it's also difficult to get over that 6.5 little bump there. I got more rumors that are good and bad coming up here in just a moment from ESPN, but I got to give a shout-out to GLD. You guys might have noticed that I'm rocking my chain here on today's show, and if anybody out there wants to get their hands on the chain that I got, I can get you 40% off your order. Just make sure that you use code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. And, to me, I know that there's a lot of guys out there that probably stick to what they got in their wardrobe, but we also need to remind ourselves that Father's Day is right around the corner, and maybe you want to get yourself something. Get yourself a Raiders chain. If you're watching this show and you're like, I don't know what I want to get my significant other. I don't know what I want to be able to get my dad. GLD makes a great option with that. And, GLD's got an official collab with the NFL, so you can get every NFL team on a pennant this season. They also have official collabs with the NBA, WNBA, MLB, NCAA, NHL, MLS, and even DC Comics. And honestly, I think right now is kind of the perfect time to get a GLD chain because for a limited time, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHATSPORTS to get 40% off at GLD.com. That's 40% off with code CHATSPORTS at GLD.com. After you purchase, they're going to ask where you heard about them. If you could tell them that Mitchell Renz from the Raiders Report sent you, I personally would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here on the ESPN Raiders rumors. So 2 just win babies to the team winning less than 6.5 games. In terms of Mendoza's going to start the first few weeks, I'm going to give this one only 1 just win baby. And I'm going to say that there's a small shred of truth to this one. Less than 25% chance that Fernando Mendoza is going to start within the first few weeks. So in this ESPN article, the 10 bowl prediction section, they said that Mendoza will start within the first few weeks. Quote, look for Mendoza to expedite the process. Do I believe in Fernando? Yes, I do. But I think one of the problems when you discuss about him getting a start within the first few weeks is I really truly believe the only way that Fernando Mendoza is going to get a start within those first few weeks is if he wins the battle. Because when I hear the term few, okay, when I hear few, I think the first few games, 1, 2, 3. To me, a couple is 2, a few is 3. Is that, I don't know, maybe that's an unpopular thing. Maybe that's something that not a lot of people know about and agree with. But to me, when I hear few, I think the first 3 games overall. So when you look at the Raiders, and I expect Kirk Cousins to be that week 1 starter. I do. I think that Kirk's going to win this job because the Raiders want him to win that job. And because Kirk Cousins has done, a good job already this offseason showing, hey, this is my team. Now, you still got June, you still got July, you got the preseason to roll on. But to me, that tells me that Fernando Mendoza has taken the job within the first few weeks. I really think the only way that happens is if the Raiders start 0-3, which means you lost to the Dolphins, you lost to the Chargers, you lost to the New Orleans Saints. If you lose those first 3 games, then yes, I do. Then there's going to start to be some conversations around benching Cousins for Mendoza. But maybe I'm just being that hopeful Raiders fan. I don't see the Raiders starting 0-3. I think the Raiders are going to win at least one of those games. But then also, are you going to put Mendoza in a situation on the road? Are you going to put him in a hostile environment? That I don't necessarily know. So I'll show you guys the Raiders schedule, but here's what ESPN had to say. The Raiders selected Mendoza with the number 1 pick with the mindset that the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback would arrive in Las Vegas and learn at the elbow of veteran Kirk Cousins, whom they signed in free agency. And who they signed for, Coach Clint Kubiak has said ideally he would not want a rookie starting from day 1, but look for Mendoza to expedite that process. So let's look at the Raiders' 2026 schedule. if Mendoza's not the week 1 starter, maybe I'm an old-fashioned guy, but to me, I think it would just make more sense to give Mendoza his week 1 start at home at Allegiant Stadium. It's kind of difficult to do that because, week 4 against the Chiefs, maybe that's when you're looking to do it. But if that doesn't happen week 4 against the Chiefs, I don't really think that you do it on the road against New England. At this point, week 6 isn't in the first few weeks. The first few weeks, based on the ESPN statement, is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Maybe the Raiders put Mendoza in week 4, but that means you're 0-3 at that point. I just don't see that happening. Where I could actually see the Raiders start to entertain the idea of bringing in Mendoza. And again, at this point, it would be, all right, we know we're done. We're outside of the realm. I would say it's probably that week 14 after the Raiders' week 13 bye. Now, there's a lot of tough games leading up to that. Maybe that's, again, because I'm thinking that Cousins is going to be good enough to help us get to where we need to be able to get to. But at the exact same time, I know how difficult it is to be able to win in the NFL. Some of y'all are going, start with the New York Jets. Well, actually, if you guys go on Prize Picks, they right now have something for Fernando Mendoza, and I'm kind of curious what you guys have to say. So right now on Prize Picks, they have for Fernando 9.5 games. Will Fernando, our rookie, play more, or do you think he's going to play less than 9.5 games? If you want to let me know down below, please make sure you do so. Type M for more, type L for less. Now, if you're trying to go, hey, and I'm seeing a lot of L's right now down below, if you're going, all right, Mitch, where can I find that? You can actually find that exact more and that exact less on Prize Picks. And if you're having a fun time right now going, oh, it's definitely more, oh, it's definitely less, get $50 in lineups instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Make sure that you use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup over on America's #1 sports pick app, which is Prize Picks. And, I could show you guys some other Fernando Mendoza more or lesses that Prize Picks has because they have a few season longs out already. But the one that they have on Mendoza, they have his passing touchdowns, they have his passing yards, and then the regular season games started. So it's not just played. Regular season games started. I'm looking at all these, and as much as I want to say more, and more, I think if the Raiders in their perfect world, they're going to go less, and less because they want Kirk Cousins to be the Raiders starter, and I think that they're confident that Cousins is going to be able to do it, but I also think it's because they want Fernando to learn for an entire year. But I've also seen anything is possible, man. Anything is freaking possible, man. So pick more, pick less. It is really, truly that easy to be able to do it. That link is going to be down in the comments. It's going to be down in the description down below. So please get started with our sponsor, Prize Picks. Let's go to the final ESPN Raiders rumor, and it's that the Raiders are a top 5 improved team. And to this one, this is for just win babies, believe it babies. So when I look at all these rumors from ESPN, yeah, I do think that this is good news because I think a lot of fans know that, yes, we are an improved team. This is kind of good and bad, and then under the less than 6.5, that's kind of where I thought that was the bad rumors. But in that ESPN article, the Raiders were one of the NFL's top 5 most improved teams. Quote, the Raiders are in a position to improve drastically in 2026. And the other 5 teams that ESPN showed, I'll break down here in a moment, but this is why ESPN had the Raiders as a top 5 most improved team. With the new coach in Clint Kubiak and a major roster turnover this offseason, the Raiders are in a position to improve drastically in 2026. Kubiak's offense is an easy fit for quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, and first overall pick Fernando Mendoza, while the team upgraded on both the offensive front and the perimeter. And don't forget about the defense, as Las Vegas used free agency in the draft to address all 3 levels of the field. While I don't see the Raiders competing for the AFC West title in 2026, they will correct their record from last season. And they better correct their record from last season. I mean, they were a 3-14 team, and they were lucky to win 3 games. I saw a video that I did many, many months ago, and I flat out said that I thought the Raiders were the worst Raiders team of all time with Pete Carroll. And a lot of the numbers, sadly, do prove that. But when you look here at ESPN's top improved teams, Cowboys, Bengals, Saints, Giants, Raiders, the Raiders, to me, when you really look at it from top to bottom, are in the NFL's top 5 most improved team. And, we're going to go through here position by position. For the Raiders in 2026, you improved at the quarterback position. So you can add a green check to that bad boy because they improved at quarterback. They improved at running back. So that's an improvement. I would say, compared to where the season started last year, we don't have a Jakobi Meyers. So I don't think we improved at wide receiver. Did we improve at tight end? Yeah, another year of Bowers and Mayer. I don't think that we got any worse than that. In terms of the offensive tackle, interior offensive line, defensive tackle, defensive end, yes, we improved at offensive tackle, interior offensive line. I would say defensive tackle because we had Wilkins. We still don't have a guy like Wilkins. That's not an improvement. Defensive end was an improvement here for the Raiders. And then also, when you round it out, we improved at linebacker. We improved at safety. We improved at cornerback. And special teams, I would say we did not, simply because our kicking situation, I would say Matt Gay is a worse kicker than Daniel Carlson overall. But, I mean, it's 9 out of 12 spots that I just showed you right there where I do feel like the Raiders did honestly really, truly make some good improvements. And as an organization, there's going to be some good, there's going to be some bad, and I really think that you saw a little bit of a combination from that from ESPN today. So we'll say that the Raiders were predicted to win less than 6.5 games. I understand why they did that, but to me, I don't know. I want to see the good, and when you see that we are a top 5 most improved team, that's awesome. But Mendoza starting within the first few weeks, I almost think that that's good and bad, because it's good because I want to see Mendoza play. And it could be good if he's the week 1 starter. Where I think it would be bad is, in my personal opinion, the only way that you're going to see Fernando Mendoza out there on the field is going to be if the Raiders are a bad football team. And, yeah, you get to see Fernando, but I don't want to have another bad season for the Silver and Black. Before I get out of here, I did want to tell all of y'all guys this. And we are doing a special Father's Day sale for the Raiders Report. Now, I'm recording this video live on June 2nd, so it's not live and it's not launched yet. But I just want to let all of y'all know that from June 3rd and June 4th, everything at chatsports.com/RRshop, there's going to be a 20% off sale. So if anybody's ever been wondering, hey, I want to get some Raiders Report stuff, the next 2 days, or June 3rd and June 4th, are the days to do it. Father's Day is right around the corner. If you're a dad in your life, hey, get yourself something special. I always joke, I don't really ever get myself anything, and when I do, it's typically Raiders stuff. But to anybody out there, if you need some Father's Day stuff, that link will be down in the comments. It will be in the description of today's show. To all the dads and everybody that watched this show, shout out to all y'all for making this really, really special program. Let's go to Unbroken Streetwear. Bill Romanowski sucks the NFL is too soft now. I mean, there's a lot of players. You think about back in the day how they played. There's no way that you'd be able to play that exact same way. I will say this. I have to go. Can I go pee real quick? Can you just hold it down for a minute? I'm going to get a refresh of my water. I got another segment coming up here in just a moment. And then I will, after that, do a duck race here on the show. But Lopez is going to be here holding it down. Just give me 2 minutes, y'all. I just got to go pee and go grab a new water.
Yep, we can go over the deals that we have going on right now. Give me 1 second. We can pull those up for you. Today's deals, just a reminder, $10 or a $10 super chat gets you into our fantasy football raffle to join the Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. $20 is a wheel spin, which can get you more raffle tickets. All that's on the wheel is 2 tickets, 3 tickets, 4 tickets, 5 tickets. So you do the math, you could walk out with a big deal if you land on a 5 ticket or a 4 ticket. $20 Venmo, as always, is a 50-50 duck race that we were doing. Venmo $20 to @MitchellRen365 on Venmo to get in on that duck race. $100, you get, or you bang. You bang in the month of June, and the June Bang MVP will get an automatic spot into this fantasy football league that is being run through Raiders Report. And then top 3 XP members, you do that. You get XP by liking, subscribing, commenting, super chatting. The top 3 in XP for this live stream will get a golden ticket, and that will get them an opportunity into the Raiders Report Fantasy Football League. The top 3 in XP right now is Stabler for President, Sherlock, and 101 Raider fans. Or 101 Raider fan. Let's see what else is going on. Lopez was good. It's chilling over here. We're vibing. Raider Nation says, I have infinitely more confidence in AOC over Kirk Cousins. AOC is an ego-inflated QB who thinks he's better than he actually is. Plus, he won't mind teaching Mendoza what he can. I don't think Kirk Cousins is like the biggest ego guy in the world. I think what he's proven in his NFL career is he is going to take him where the money goes. I'm not saying he's not loyal, but he has always taken the big contract. He's sat out for contracts, so he's going to go where the money goes. I think he knows he's not in Vegas to be the future. He is there to be the bridge for the future in Fernando Mendoza. So I think Kirk Cousins knows what he signed up for. I don't think he's going to do anything insane. I think he's not going to try and sabotage Fernando Mendoza. He's going to help him develop. He's going to teach him the stuff that Kirk Cousins has learned in his career. I don't think he's an ego-inflated guy.
All right, I am back. Sorry, had to pee, had to get my water. We're good. Friendly reminder, the last time that I checked, if you want to get in this duck race, I see Philip Bogert, you're in. Raider Ron, you are in. 20 to win. $80 here on the Raiders Report. 20 to win. $80. We will do it at the very, very end of the program. Are you guys not allowed in the duck race? Are you talking to me, Jedi? I mean, I don't join the duck race because, I mean, like, there's times where, like, I've joined. There's times where, like, Chugs has joined. You could probably get Lopez in once or twice. Also, I'm seeing right now looks like the Raiders, their media team, was able to speak to some of the coaches today at practice, and I will probably try to get some updates here. But it looks like the media team, was able to get some conversations going. Because Mike Sullivan, because right now Sam Warren and Ryan McFadden are dropping some interesting little tidbits on Mendoza, Mike Sullivan, Kirk Cousins. I'll probably try to put a show around some of that to maybe tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that.
Hold up, give me 1 second. I have an idea. If you want it on screen, like right now.
What?
Is that computer still hooked up? Is that where you're doing the FaceTimes on the other day?
Yes.
Then we should still be getting audio from that. If you want to pull it up there.
For what?
If you want to get like on screen and like treat it like a presser, I don't know.
No, we don't have. It's the presser's not today. Like there's no presser. It's basically because it's closed doors. Certain people can get into conversations and other people can't. So like when I was at the NFL Combine, there was a point where I went to go into a room and they were like local media only. So today, some local media members got to speak with, it looks like, the Raiders quarterback coach Mike Sullivan. Media just spoke with Raiders position coaches for the first time. So that looks like that just happened. So the local media guys, you're gonna be seeing some little tidbits from our quarterbacks coach on Kirk Cousins, Fernando Mendoza. I'm seeing some stuff pop up right now. But yep. All right, let's get into the final segment on the Raiders Report. And again, this one's going to be around the Raiders. I think they did a really, really good job fixing an issue. And I think when you guys see this show, you're going to be like, yep, I definitely agree with that. Michael Tolbert, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for getting in this race. Greatly appreciate you. To the 250 people that are here in the building right now, if you haven't already, hit that like button. It does help us out a lot. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you did. And then we got one more segment to get to. After this segment on the show, then I will start to get into the back half. Though, this is kind of... What if I sent you this person's Twitter? Do you think that you could build...
Like a social?
Well, there's like a bunch of them. Again, we'll get to it. I think let's get through this segment, and then we'll go to what's coming out right now.
Okay.
So he's like, you'll see, he's got 1, 2, I'd say three tweets. Yeah. And if those are too long, then maybe just turn them into quotes. If possible. If possible. What up, Sherlock? First beer is on me, Lopez. I mean, dude, Sherlock, you're going to be here, about 3 weeks from now. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, Sherlock. Okay, y'all. So these are our deals that we're doing today. I'll kind of run through them one more time, and then we'll get into the final segment on the program today. So if you want to get in my fantasy football league, I'm going to be getting people in June, July, and in August. If you want to get a raffle ticket, $10 to get one ticket. To get more tickets, spin the wheel. If you want to win money today, $20 Venmo to get in our duck race. If you want to be in our fantasy league, whoever bangs the most in the month of June, you're going to get in our fantasy league. I'll be keeping an update. We'll have a leaderboard, so we'll be showing all that good stuff. And then today, whoever's in our top 3 from XP, you're going to get a golden ticket. And I will do a golden ticket raffle in June, July, and August as well. It's going to be much more difficult to get a golden ticket during the offseason, just so all of y'all know. That was the year I was born from LA Crash Dog. All right, y'all, let's do this final segment on the program. And then we will do the duck race. I got to get home. I'm on Chuck duty, so I got to try to get out of here quicker than what I wanted to. I kind of just realized that it's already 5 o'clock my time, and I gotta try to be home here in the next hour for Chuck, or else I don't want to have an issue. Though he's usually pretty good. But all right, let's do this next segment. This one's only Prize Picks.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Ready?
I'm ready to rock. 3, 2. The Las Vegas Raiders fixed a major problem this offseason. The problem was the offensive line. My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by Prize Picks. And I want Raider fans out there to appreciate what John Spytek, really this organization, has done to fix the offensive line this offseason. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, we haven't even seen them play yet. How do you know that the Raiders fixed their offensive line? I can confidently look at everybody that watches this video. I can confidently look at you and tell you that what the Raiders have done this offseason, they have fixed their offensive line problem, which was a major, major issue for this organization. And you got to talk about how bad that offensive line was last season. They allowed 64 sacks, tied for the most in the NFL. They allowed a sack on 11.1% of dropbacks, last in the NFL last season. You finished last in rushing yards with 1,317. Hell, Genti had 81% of his yards after contact. Last in rushing touchdowns. Last in yards per carry. The reason why you were the last ranked offense in the National Football League, yeah, there was a lot of reasons, but when you can't win in the trenches, a lot of the other shit that you're doing doesn't really matter. And when I show you this, you're going to laugh out loud. Look at the top Raiders offensive line snap getters in 2025. DJ Glaze, he might not even start this year. Dylan Parham, not on the team. Stone Forsythe, not on any team. Jordan Meredith might not be a starter. Alex Cappa, not on any team. Jackson Powers Johnson will be a starter. Caleb Rogers will not be a starter this season. Good depth piece. Kolton Miller will be our starting left tackle. Atonio Mafi won't even make the roster. Will Putnam won't even make the roster. And then you got Charles Grant at 59 and Dalton Wagner down there. When you see how many of these players got actual snaps for us last season that won't be on the team, the Raiders made an offensive line an improvement. And when you look here at this group, Kolton Miller, Spencer Burford, Tyler Linderbaum, JPJ, DJ Glaze, Charles Grant, Jordan Meredith, Trey Zune, and Caleb Rogers, those 9 players that I just mentioned right there are the reason why I am up here on this channel, and I am telling you that I promise that the Raiders' offensive line will be better in 2026 than what it was in 2025. Now, maybe that's not saying a lot, but I hope that you hit that subscribe button and you watch this show because the Raiders' offensive line is significantly better. And the Raiders are going to be a team that will improve this upcoming season because I do. I am a believer, you can call me old school if you want, that games are won and lost in the trenches. And I think that Clint Kubiak is a better head coach than Pete Carroll. So I get it. The amount of comments that I see on videos that I drop like this that are like, Mitch, it's the Raiders, this and that, it's glass half empty. I'm going to be glass half full, and I'm going to look at what the Raiders have done this offseason, and I'm going to go, we have fixed a major problem, and we have fixed that offensive line problem, and I believe our organization, especially John Spytek, deserves some credit for that. Here's how I know the offensive line has been fixed. The first thing that you did was you cut the head off the snake. You got rid of Brennan Carroll. You got rid of Pete Carroll, and there's a lot of teams out there that they don't make that decision. Look at the New York Jets, for example. The New York Jets are in a situation that they're afraid to move on from Aaron Glenn, even though I think everybody knows that that would have been the right situation to make. And, like, in terms of how bad it was a season ago, I mean, look at this, ESPN, on how bad Brennan Carroll was for the Raiders in 2025. An agent of a Raiders offensive lineman said that his client told him that the position group met multiple times on their own with Smith and Genty, and specifically without coaches, so the quarterback and running back could talk to them about how they wanted the offensive line to create blocks. It was that bad. They were meeting on their own and trying to figure it out together, which I have never heard of in the history of working in this league. There was some sort of nepotism going on. The agent also said his client said that Brennan Carroll rushed players through individual drills at practice and didn't teach them what they were trying to achieve in the specific drills. It's so important to have good coaching in the NFL, and Clint Kubiak is a major upgrade over Pete Carroll, but it's not just Pete Carroll and Brennan Carroll. Like, we made a lot of other improvements, which is why I know that the Raiders fixed their offensive line problem. And coming up here on the program, I got 4 other reasons that are going to outline, and I'm trying to convince the glass half full fans to be positive about this O-line, because it is significantly better, and the Raiders will be significantly better this upcoming season. Before I get into those reasons, here's a big reason that you should get started with Prize Picks. Not only are they America's #1 fantasy sports app out there, but if you want to be able to watch Knicks and Spurs, I have a lineup for you guys that I can't wait to be able to show you. And, you know, this Knicks and Spurs game, I know that the time I'm recording this video, the game has not happened, and when you see this video, the Knicks and Spurs game 1 will probably already be in the book, so you'll be able to tell me whether my lineup won or whether my lineup lost. But that's kind of the fun part of sometimes doing shows like this, because I want all of y'all to know out there I am going to have a lineup in, and it's going to be a Prize Picks lineup. And I got a 10 to pay a $23. Jalen Brunson is the best deal that they're giving you. He's going to score more than a half a point. But then for Mikal Bridgers and then also Stephon Castle, I mean, that has happened 5 out of the last 5 games. That has happened 5 out of the last 5 games. And if you want to roll with me, you can follow me on Prize Picks. I'm at MitchellRents365, though. If I could give you some advice, don't be afraid to give my guy Marshall Green a follow on Prize Picks, who's made over $10,000, and he is our host of our Knicks show, and he knows that team like the back of his hand. I'm going to be rolling with some Marshall lineups. If you want to roll with some lineups with me, you can. Pick more, pick less over on Prize Picks. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Let's go to the next reason here why I am confident that the Raiders fixed their major offensive line problem. You hired Clint Kubiak and you hired Rick Dennison. Kubiak has got a great track record of being able to get the most out of the offenses and his offensive line. He also comes from the Shanahan tree. His dad, Gary Kubiak, also did a great job. But part of being able to get the most out of your offensive line is also understanding the talent that you had. One of the biggest areas where the Raiders struggled last season is their coaching staff, their coaches, didn't know the players all that well. And I think you're seeing early on already the Raiders are putting players in proper situations. But then you add Rick Dennison. Rick Dennison is one of the most respected offensive line coaches in the NFL, and he's great in the run game. He can really help get this team going in the right direction. And I think about what the Raiders' offensive line looked like in 2024. It wasn't a bad unit. Then they were a disaster in 2025. The biggest change, Brennan Carroll. So you upgrade a head coach, you upgrade an offensive line coach. Now let's talk about the other moves that the Raiders have done on the football field. The first thing they did in free agency, really, was they spent big and they went out and they got Tyler Linderbaum. I would say the top free agent of this class. I would say the top interior offensive lineman. Did they overpay him? Maybe a little bit, but you could say they overpaid him from a term of a center perspective, but I don't think they did overpay him because of what he is and what he means to the Clint Kubiak Raiders. That is a player to me that I don't know if you could overpay him, but look at what he did last season in 1,000 snaps. This is somebody that's going to help you dominate in the run game. You want to get Ashton Genty going. You want to get more 12 personnel going. You want to take pressure off of Kirk Cousins and your young rookie quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. You need to be able to run the football, and you need to be able to find a center that knows what they're doing because they touch the ball every single play. In those 1,000 snaps, I mean, he had 23 pressures allowed, only 2 sacks allowed, 4 penalties, but it's also the mentality. The signing of Tyler Linderbaum is an investment on that offensive line, but it's also the understanding of how bad they were last year, not only overall on the line, but how bad they were at that center spot. And when your center is not the right guy that's out there, I think it really shows you how bad an offensive line could be. I mean, again, we saw snaps from Cappa. We saw snaps from Meredith. We saw snaps from freaking Will Putnam at center, for the love of God. That should never happen, and it will not happen this season. Even if Linderbaum goes down, you're going to have JPJ that can play center. You're going to have a Trey Zune that can play center. And because the Raiders properly did that, you're not going to have a shit show of a situation at the center position. For that reason and that reason alone, your offensive line has been massively upgraded. Let's go to some of the other signings that the Raiders have made. You signed Spencer Burford, who's going to help your interior guard spot. You also brought back Jordan Meredith, who's going to help out your interior guard spot. And for the low price of $6.6 million, you added 2 players that can kind of give you 5 different rotational spots, because Burford can play left guard and he can play right guard. He played right guard in 2023 with Kubiak with the San Francisco 49ers. He played over 400 snaps at left guard last season. But then you got Meredith, who can play left guard, center, and right guard. But then the Raiders, just the fact of how much depth that they've been able to build. And, you know, I think about last season, and again, like looking at the fact that Cappa got snaps, Stone Forsythe got snaps, I truly believe this year the depth that the Raiders have made, you know, even bringing up the guys they drafted last year, and Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, the biggest difference also for this team is the amount of solid, reliable depth that this team has been able to establish on that offensive line. Now, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but we have a special Father's Day sale going on here at Chat Sports, and if anybody out there wants to get that special guy something in their life, if that special guy is you, hey man, don't be afraid to get yourself something. I always like joke with my wife Alex. I get my dog, I get my wife, I get my mom, my dad, I get them stuff all the time. I don't really get many things from me. I'm a dog dad, so maybe I'm going to have to snag and take advantage of this deal. But for June 3rd and June 4th, that is a 48-hour window. Everything at chatsports.com/RRshop will be 20% off for Father's Day. Father's Day's right around the corner. It's on the 21st. And I just want to make sure that if you order something, you're going to get it in time. So if you want to get something for your dad, if you want to get something for yourself, chatsports.com/RRshop. Father's Day sale, 20% off June 3rd to June 4th. Let's go to another reason here why I know for a fact the Raiders fixed their offensive line problem. On draft night, the Raiders drafted Trey Zune, 91 overall. And when they did that, the very first thing that I thought of, the very first thing that I said was the reason why I think that they drafted Trey Zune was to ensure the fact that they're never going to put somebody out there on the offensive line again that's a complete disaster. I don't ever want to see a Will Putnam, a Atonio Mafi, a Alex Cappa type of performance, because by drafting Trey Zune, this is a player that gives you so much versatility that I don't even think I fully realized how much versatility he provides until now seeing a lot of these reports that are starting circulating in the OTAs and starting to circulate really like in these practices, because I legitimately think that they believe Trey Zune could play anywhere. I think that they believe he could play left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, and at right tackle. So when you draft a player that can play all those positions, you are confidently going to go, all right, well, if that guy goes down, I know Trey Zune can play there. But Trey Zune then also is going to be with Caleb Rogers. He's going to be with Jordan Meredith. He's going to be with Charles Grant. Going to be with all these other players here that are going to help continuously build this backfield, help build this offensive line. But I want you to look at Trey Zune's college football snaps, and you're going to see something here that I think is just really, really interesting. So in his college career, Zune played over 3,000 snaps at left tackle. One of the reasons why the Raiders drafted him, I keep saying it over and over, but it's because I remember Spytek and Kubiak both said when they went and scouted him, Texas A&M against Miami, they were very impressed, and that was a game he played left tackle. At center, 126 snaps. That's 4%. Right tackle, he played 3 snaps, so it's less than 1%. But the reason why I bring this up here, okay, think about this. The Raiders are trying him out at left guard. The Raiders are trying him out at right guard. The Raiders are trying him out at right tackle. I really think the reason why they're doing that is because they're like, I've seen tape on him at center. I've seen tape on him at left tackle. Now I want to get more tape. Now I want to get more tape. Now I want to get more tape. So by drafting Trey Zune, it's just kind of like that cherry on top of them going, what was our biggest issue last season? There were tons of issues, okay? And you could probably say Geno Smith. You could probably say blame Geno the quarterback spot. But I will truthfully say that I believe the biggest issue with the Raiders last season was their offensive line. And the Raiders realized, hey, you're not going to be able to do anything worth a damn unless you upgrade this offensive line. So the Raiders starting O-line, I think, went from being the worst unit in the National Football League to now I think we're a top 15 unit. If the line was something like Kolton Miller, Tyler Linderbaum, JPJ, we can figure out the 2 other spots. I think having those 3 guys on the line puts us in that top 15 range. Because the Raiders have a lot of depth and they have a lot of versatility, that makes you a lot better in 2026. But with the additions of Clint Kubiak, Rick Dennison, the Raiders' offensive line, it's not going to be a problem this season. And I know it's crazy to say, and I'm probably crazy for saying it, but I am that confident in that regime, in our regime, in what we have done this offseason, where I do. I believe in the Raiders' offensive line. So I'm going to show you real quick here, again, who we have on this team as it stands right now in the trenches. And I want you to think about the question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to think about how confident you are in this unit. Between Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, Glaze, Grant, Meredith, Zune, Rogers. Can we all agree that those are, without a doubt, the top 9 offensive linemen on this team? So from looking at this Raiders offensive line, how would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? A, best offensive line in the NFL. B, we're an above-average offensive line. C, very average. D, below average. F, it's a fail. It's 2025 Pete Carroll all over again. Grade the Raiders offensive line. My grades, multiple grades, coming up here in just a moment. I'm going to go our starters are a B+. I think Kolton Miller and JPJ and Linderbaum is a really, really good start. And I have faith in DJ Glaze because DJ Glaze was a lot better as a rookie. I have faith in Charles Grant because I've seen the tape. I also think I've heard a lot of good stuff about Trey Zune. So like Spencer Burford, a lot of good stuff about Burford. Like they're going to be able to come up with a good combination for our starters. And then depth, because I legitimately think if we go down at left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, and right tackle, if we go down at any one of those positions, we're going to be able to put a player in that we have confidence in, which we did not have that last season. And for the Raiders offensive line for 2026, I will say right now, 9 offensive linemen are projected to make this team. These are the top 9 guys. I don't really think that the Raiders are going to add another piece to this puzzle. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Now, if this team decides to trade one of these guys, I would say Jordan Meredith is probably the top candidate out there. But again, I think the Raiders really, really like this offensive line. And I believe in Spytek, and I believe in Clint Kubiak. And I wanted to be able to make this show because the Raiders made a fix the offensive line plan this offseason. And they fucking crushed it. They realized that you're not going to be able to win with an unreliable offensive line, and you're not going to be able to win with an unreliable offensive line coach. But the fact that the Raiders built a reliable O-line, it shows me that they have the right plan. And again, I feel like I say plan over and over and over again, but in my mind, you drafted Fernando Mendoza, you drafted Ashton Genty, you drafted Brock Bowers. Those are your 3 last first-round picks, all on offense, all on rookie deals. That's your future. The way that you build around your future and the way that you build around Mendoza, Genty, and Bowers is upgrading your freaking offensive line, which is exactly what this organization did. So maybe it's a bold statement to make, But I believe the Raiders fixed a major problem, and that major problem was the offensive line. I expect the Raiders' offensive line to be significantly better this upcoming season. I hope that Raider Nation looks at this glass half full. What up, Sherlock? What's for chow tonight, y'all? Boy. Because my wife is out of town, I am on charge of getting rid of all the leftovers in our fridge. So that for me tonight is going to be a bunch of chicken. I got a bunch of chicken and I got some salad I got to get rid of. But that's for chow for me tonight. Sherlock, shout out to you, bro, for pulling up today. All right, y'all, I got to kind of rush you guys a little bit. We got to do the final call to get in our duck race here today. In terms of what was said, again, I see some quotes from Joe Woods. I see some quotes out there from Mike Sullivan. I'll probably try to get you guys a little bit of a longer video, and it might end up being tomorrow on what some of these coaches have said, because there's some interesting quotes out there, but I haven't had a time to read them all. I mean, I'll say it's very coach speak based on some of the stuff that I've seen. Like Fernando Mendoza's development, quote, a long process. But I want to go through and look at some of these quotes. We don't have to do it today. We'll do it another day. I'm looking right now. I see some people getting in. I see Dan Fry. What's going on, man? I got you. Juan Naverte. Hopefully I pronounced that right. You're in. Richard Engel, you're in. And then my brother from another, Anthony Green, you're in. 20 to win. $130 on today's program. And as it stands right now, the three people that would be getting our golden ticket, Stabler for president, Sherlock Raider, and Isaac Hernandez would be getting the golden ticket for our fantasy league. Just so all of y'all know. Top 3 XP getters today, which we will be doing raffles at the end of every single month. Golden ticket raffle, and then I'll call it the regular raffle to get in our fantasy league. All right, I am looking down below. Final refresh here. I don't know what race we're going to do. Do you have one picked out?
I usually do it. Spur of the moment. See what's calling my name.
The Falcons and star wide receiver Drake London have just agreed to a terms of a massive new contract extension, 4-year deal for Drake London. How much do we think it's going to be? Breaking news. The Falcons and Drake London just got a deal.
Is it crazy to say, like, after, like, inflation and all that, he's slightly under, like, a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson?
I mean, I don't think that he should be paid in the same realm as those guys, but there's always the next man up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you right now, I am unbelievably curious about what type of figures he's about to get. Highest paid. Who's the highest paid guys right now in the league? So JSN's making 42. Jamar's making 40. Jefferson's making 35. That's where I think he is.
I think he's in between Jamar and Jefferson.
I think he's going to be between Jefferson and Jamar. But then again, I mean, you got Jefferson's 35, CD's 34, DK's at 33.
Drake London's going to go for 36 or 37. That's my prediction.
I kind of like that. I kind of agree with you, man. But that's also like, again, like earlier this week I was saying, hey, after the A.J. Brown trade, there's going to be other dominoes that end up falling. And again, this is one of those, like there will be more and more dominoes that will end up happening after June 1st, after the A.J. Brown trade. This one's interesting. Joe Woods said their vision to have multiple players who can interchange at nickel and at safety. The Raiders defensive backs coach Joe Woods said that. So, I mean, honestly, the way that the Raiders have been using Stukes and Chin, they've been really using those guys as like big nickel, free safety. They've been kind of having them play rover. And then with Taron Johnson in there a little bit, really interesting. I like that a lot by Joe Woods. All right, y'all. I'm looking now. We are about to add a few more people into this race, so just give me 1 second. I am adding Gabriel Ruiz, who always waits till the very last minute. Gabriel, I got you. And then Jaime Portillo, I also got you in this duck race. So now it's 20 to win, $180.
Is that the last one?
Well, I need 3 from Gabriel, 2 from Jaime.
Oh.
Sorry, I put him in the list. And I believe we have all the other ones in there.
Yes.
I mean, what are they going to pay Bijan Robinson? Bijan's due, right?
Yeah, but they'll probably get a rookie quarterback within the next couple of years.
But I mean, if
So that'll
Bijan
reset.
can get a contract, I would imagine they'd give him one.
Bijan was what year? Is he 23 or 24? I feel like 24.
I'm trying to think myself. Because I believe he is due for an extension. Yeah, he's played 3 years in the league. So,
London was probably the draft before Bijan, and then they went to Bijan, and then they'll worry about Bijan next, if I had to guess.
yep. Because then
Yeah,
that means it
he
would have
just
been.
tweeted it, or Rappaport just tweeted Bijan likely next.
Oh, okay. Because I think that means it was Kyle Pitts, Drake, and then Bijan. I think that's how it went
Yeah.
for Atlanta. Wow, here we go. 4 years. What is the math on this?
What's the number?
4 for 141.
Hold up. 141 divided by 4.
That's
35.25. He's just above Jefferson.
Just above Jefferson. 100 million guaranteed, worth up to 150. So he can get up to 150.
That would put him at 37.5 a year.
Wow.
It's probably a lot of incentives.
9 million in incentives. 4 for 141, Drake London. Holy cow, dude. I mean, dude, that's kind of right where we thought he was going to be. Makes sense, but I just can't even imagine getting that type of money. Wild, wild, wild. All right, y'all. Let's run this race. I'm going to refresh my phone one more time. Looks like it's spooky season here on the Raiders Report. I'm looking. We're all caught up. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it going. Winner of this race going to be going home with $180 here on the Raiders Report. And it looks like Stabler for President, Sherlock, and Isaac will be getting the golden tickets. Gabriel Ruiz, watch out for him. Jaime Portillo, who's going to go home with $180. And if you're just now joining us, the breaking news, well, this is interesting. Jordan Schultz has now got conflicting with Rappaport. Rappaport said $100 million guaranteed. Schultz is saying 83 guaranteed. So
Drake London's probably hoping it's the 100.
yeah, I mean, oh man, only 83 million guaranteed.
Dude,
But I mean,
what am I going to do without that $17 million?
that's interesting. 10 seconds to go. Juan's got the lead right now. Come on. Come on.
Michael Tolbert.
Michael Tolbert. You want a balloon, Michael? It floats. They all float. Michael Tolbert with the dub. Michael, if you could please confirm that you just received $180, that would be much appreciated. Jordan Schultz has updated his tweet, which now says $100 million guaranteed.
So Jordan Schultz was wrong. Big day to be Sam Brown.
Jordan Schultz was not correct. Though I will back up Jordan Schultz every day of the week instead of Ian Rappaport. I promise you that. Not a rap guy.
Really?
I mean, I've heard some stories about him, and then I had my own personal encounter with him, and it was not great. So I think when you hear a lot of things about someone, and then your encounter with them matches what you heard, I'm going to connect the dots. So I'm going to connect the dots. But, all right, y'all, I'm getting ready to hop on out of here. If you don't know, our chat sports team will be live for the Vegas Golden Knights up against the Carolina Hurricanes game tonight. if anybody wants to go check it out. I don't know what time.
Who's live for that?
Coop, I believe.
Is he? He's been here all day. I didn't know, unless he's staying really late. I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine they're going live for the hockey. Are we not? I mean, I'd be shocked.
I don't know. I just didn't know who was doing it.
Oh.
Coop was here this morning. That's why I asked.
I'll have to double check, but I was pretty sure. I mean, somebody's got to be going live for it, I feel like. I'll have to double check. Man, if that's the case, that's a huge swing and a miss. All right, well, I'm going to be watching that game tonight. Hopefully you guys are watching it too. And then the next time you're going to see me will be on Thursday, live on the Raiders Report. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you guys then. If you're a busy fan and if anything happens around this team, like I said, I'll do my best to keep you up to date. From me, from Lopez, my entire team, peace out and enjoy your day.